Click. Oh, I'm
No
sorry, y'all.
doubt.
I got this evil laugh. I'm try to not laugh to live it out. It's like, oh, I got to get it under control. I love a little Metallica every once in a while. I got to say, Sandman's one of their better songs. I mean, they got several good songs, but I like Sam. I like quite a few of their songs actually.
That whole album's good.
Yeah, that is a really good album, and y'all should listen to it. If you're a Z Gener and you're listening to us tonight, you should listen to a little Metallica. It's good for the soul. I listen to a lot of y'all's weird ass music, so what can I tell y'all? It's just. Oh wait, I got to turn my phone off before it starts ringing on us and shit. And speaking of that, where's my son at? He said, "Let me see." Okay, yeah, sorry, I was doing something else at that. But anyway, welcome everyone to the Centralist. You got Jay and I with us. Emily might be joining us. I haven't seen her text yet. I haven't been paying really attention to what's going on. Okay, yeah, she's going to join us in a little while. Cool. Yeah, cool. And well, she's got a show on Friday now. She's working with us. She starts on the network next week. Uh, hold on, just an invite. Apparently tonight I can't do more than one thing at one time. But anyway,
Stop
guys,
doing that minimum.
again, welcome to the show. I hope everyone's had a great week. We got a lot of good shit to get into tonight. We're going to open up right off with, oh my freaking God, who put out 2,000 social security numbers on a website? They put Donald Trump's social security number on a website. His two top guys, they put it on a website. They put, I think it's 9 governors' social security numbers on the website. All together, 2,000 conservatives on a website. In no way you're going to tell me this was an accident. This is all
No.
the January 6th information. And I would be suing the living shit out of these people. I would sue each and every person on the board. I would sue the DNC itself. I would sue the federal government. I would sue anybody associated with the website. Anybody who was supposed to be proofread. I would just be ungodly. I would cut loose on them. I mean, you just put. Do you realize what your Social Security thing is? Everything. It's your number. According to the Bible, it's your damn number. That's what they're going to identify you by, and you can't do anything in this world without it. So now everybody can go screwing around with Donald Trump's Social Security number. I mean, how do you fix this? There's no way to even fix this. But you're going to give him a new Social Security number and screw his credit up? He's been building up for 70 years. I mean, come on. I don't even like the guy, and this is just bullshit. I mean, if you can't trust a country, I mean, this is supposed to be our government doing the right thing. Yeah, we can. And we're going to get more into this in a few minutes. I'm sorry. I hit Trish with an invite. She's putting me through the Seventh Amendment right now. Uh, it's so anyway, guys and girls. Like I said, it's family bullshit. All right, this is gonna be one of these kind of nights. I can already tell. First off, one of my customers trying to give me COVID today. He tells me yesterday. He goes, yesterday I was in his house working just for about 10 minutes each time. He tells me today I got COVID. I'm like, what? I said, what the hell you mean you got COVID? So, I mean, I had it in May, so hopefully I'll be all right. But this is some bullshit, people. So it's been that kind of day. It was good. Don't get me wrong. I made good money, but I don't know. Is it good enough to get COVID? No. Who wants to get COVID? I've had the damn shit 3 times. I don't want to get it. I just don't want to even be bothered with COVID, which we're going to talk about later in the show. There's just so much information we've got to crisscross over, but we're going to stay on this 2000 Social Security number. So let me ask you something. What do you think would happen if someone released Nancy Pelosi's and all of the top DNC's Social Security numbers? What do you think
He'd
would
be
happen?
arrested.
Oh my God, it would be freaking World War III out there. Let me drop it. I see she just popped in with it. It would. I mean,
vote no for McCarthy.
You ain't the only one, apparently, man. I've been following this. This has been ridiculous. And he hasn't even said anything about these 2,000 Social Security numbers that the RNC released on the January 6th website. So Donald Trump's Social Security number is public. It's public now. His two top people, they are public now. 9 governors, 9 Republican governors.
Where's this at?
Yeah, it's on. Just type in January 6th committee releases Social Security numbers.
Okay.
It's I got a website on here somewhere. It's I know because I put it up in the banner, but
well, shoot, they can be sued for that.
Well, they're gonna get. I'm sure they're gonna get the shit suit out of them. But so then they go and then they turn around and then the news changes all of a sudden. Well, 1,900 were redacted, but 100 weren't. So you still had Donald Trump, the president of the United States. Social Security number is released. I don't even know how you fix that. I mean,
dude, I got chills bumps.
I mean, how do you fix it? And then his 2 top aides, 9 governors. I mean, how do you? There's no way to fix this. I mean, their life number was now made public to the world. I mean, I would be suing them. I'd be making them pay for security. I'd just come unglued on their ass. Everybody in this committee should be sued. Go ahead, babe.
Give narcissists enough rope, they'll hang themselves.
Well, obviously they're doing it here. So, and then whoever was on the radio show I was listening to, she goes, well, it was probably just an accident. And the host just started laughing his ass off. And wait, this was a liberal host. He just starts laughing. He said, he said, I'm a liberal, baby. And there's no way this was an accident. 2,000 of them. How do you release 2,000 Social Security numbers and say it was an accident? They even left people, like the lawyers who came in to represent people, even their Social Security numbers got released. So you know what's going to happen. These people are going to go bananas. So I said, sue everybody on the committee right off the bat, sue everybody associated with the committee, sue the federal government itself, sue everybody, because if it's a federal government's,
we're bankrupt anyway.
Well, they say that, but then we got money all over the place. It's funny.
About that.
It's funny because nobody's been paying attention to this for the last 5 years, but the U.S. has been buying gold up. It wants to go back to the gold standard, and it's been buying almost $5 trillion in the last 2 years. It's seriously buying gold. Everywhere they can get their fingers on it, they're buying gold, especially when it dropped, the rates dropped. They were buying it by the tons. And, they're one of the few countries that can buy it. But as a matter of fact, we cut a deal. I shouldn't even say this. I'm probably get killed. We cut a deal with the Arab Emirates. They were in Dubai when this deal was cut. And it was for $1.1 trillion in gold. Wow. They pretty much bought up the Arab Emirates gold source.
So what's going on with Russia, China, all these people? They just made a big, huge deal. They're going to. I'm sorry, I've been so busy this week. I've just
okay, take your time. I know how it is. Just take your time.
But they've went in and started going in with. Is it a gold standard? Is it all the gold standard? I can't remember what I read.
Russia, they were trying for a while.
They're doing it. It's called BRICS.
Yeah, I think they were trying for a while to force America, like they were talking with Saudi. Saudi was going to do it. A couple of other countries, a couple of countries were going to go do this deal with China because China's supposed to have all this money, and then the market started dropping, and then we found that China ain't got no money. So the Arab Emirates pulled out. They said we're going to go back to using U.S. dollar. Last I heard, Saudi's going to pull out and go back to using U.S. dollars. So.
They all teamed up. Well,
yeah, that's what they were doing. They were trying to gang up.
Saudi's not doing the U.S. dollar. That's what I heard about.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so 2 weeks ago and up to about 3 days ago, Saudi was going to use the China money, but then there was a collapse in the market, and we found that China has no money. They're not holding anything. We found out that most of their money was fake. It was pumped up.
That's U.S. dollar.
Their money's on the whatever they call it over there.
We're fake. We're faux. We're a faux pas over here.
We have 60 trillion in assets and 30 trillion in debt. So, see, people have to remember it's not just about money in this anymore. It's about technology. So, 30 trillion in debt is nothing.
Digital dollar. The digital dollar, is that what you're saying?
No. The amount of the technology the U.S. holds, the patents we hold, is about $300 trillion. So, there's no way for us to really get in debt. It's a game they play. And remember, we only borrow against. You don't think
we're in debt? You don't think we're in debt, Joe?
Only borrow against what? Who do we borrow against? We borrow against our children. We borrow against Social Security. So we're only in
Well,
debt
we're in debt.
to ourselves. You can't really be in debt to yourself. That's just another way they play the game. It's not
Jay's being quiet.
China holds 30 trillion in debt or Russia holds. We would never sell that kind of debt to an enemy. We would not do it. It would put us.
I think China should owe us money for COVID. Jay's being
They want to
quiet,
sue over that. A bunch of people want to sue over that.
Yeah, I mean, if they're the ones who let it loose, whether it's an accident or not, they should be held accountable.
Well, since they hacked Fauci's account and released that, he actually knew about the SARS-2, and he had actually requested that SARS-2 be weaponized. He actually requested it. So there's going to be a big investigation into this. Any way this goes, he asked for this, so, and that's exactly what we got. We got a weaponized version of SARS. I mean, it changes every 6 months without any other real reason. Even that we squashed it down, it still changed. And it's still changing right now. There's 2 new variants coming out right now. This is one of those things.
Tactics.
So it's going to do one of 2 things like viruses like this do. It's either going to finally kill us or it's going to burn itself out.
It is.
It's
It's
gonna
already
peter
killed
out.
us.
Well, it seems like it's burning itself out. It seems the variants are getting less and less and less each time around. And the U.S., most citizens are getting more and more immune to it. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, it's we just can watch and see. I know the version I got originally, it put Linda in the hospital for 11 days. I didn't get out of bed for the first 6, and I was sick for 16 days. Actually, I went to see my doctor on the 16th day and asked her, what do I have? And she says, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before. 4 months later, I get a phone call from my doctor. Oh, you had a very bad version of COVID. I was like, what? She said, whatever y'all picked up was extremely bad. And then I've gotten it 2 more times since then. Each time it's been a little less. The last time I got it, I picked it up in LA. It was like having a summertime cold. That's as strong as it ever was.
Don't ever go to LA when there's a pandemic, Joe.
I got work to do. I got responsibilities, and the network has to survive, and we got friends out there we have to take care of. My biggest mistake was, and both times I got COVID after the big time, I got it the same way. I usually keep one of them little bottles of spray. I keep them in my cars and stuff. So anytime we come out of a place, I always clean my hands. Well, in LA, I didn't bring it with me. And sure enough, I didn't get sick. It wasn't horrible, but still, I got sick. I think 11 people at Writers of the Future ended up with COVID. None of them got it really bad, but they've just been a spike down here. So we'll see if I got it or not for my customer, and I'll be really pissed if I did. I can tell you that now. I'll be bitching for weeks to come. Jeremy, no, there was 2,000 of them released. Yeah, you can. They pulled them off the website this afternoon after somebody just lost their mind and seen them.
Yeah, I couldn't find them. But it's released. It was released enough out there for a moment that people can get the information. I would sue the crap.
Well, they could. It was up for several days before anybody found it. It wasn't just like it went up and came back down.
I want to say, Thomas, we really appreciate you liking Angley. We really, really do. And we understand that you might support him a lot more. I don't know him that well. I just know that the 2 to 3 minutes I've known him, he was not nice to me. Hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully he had a good New Year's.
Angley is his own worst enemy, Thomas. That's all I can tell you, babe. That's all I can. He would still be here, but he's his own worst enemy.
Not this girl with coffee. So I don't know who the girl is with coffee. So
It's you.
Oh, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper, so it's not coffee.
I'm drinking iced tea, so in case y'all get crazy, and coffee. So I'll be real wired by the end of the show. It's
what is that? That's vodka, Jay. Just go ahead and tell us.
No, it's plain water.
Oh, we all drinking out of McDonald's cups? Get out of here! No,
I got Wendy's. All
right, so she's Wendy's. We're both McDonald's.
Okay.
We're just giving free advertisement all over the damn place.
Yeah, really. Where's my free Big Mac?
But no, to answer your question and to answer Sandy's question as well, they released 2,000 of them. I forgot who caught them. Somebody non-related picked them up and said, "What the hell?" And they called somebody in the RNC and told them, "You better go look at this website." And they went over and looked and found them. So they lost their mind after that. But I want to say it was 2 or 3 days. When I heard the original report this afternoon, it was 3 days they had been up on the site. So now, if it was the original dump, which was like 3 weeks ago, then it was 3 weeks they'd been on the site. But I just couldn't.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to blame it on Russia. That's what they're going to do.
Nah, they can't blame this on Russia.
It was going to be Russia hacker. They released it.
And that'll get in more trouble if Russia hacked the DNC.
They didn't do
That'll
it.
just get them in more trouble. That'll get a bunch of people put in jail.
was-
Oh, none of the popular people are going to go to jail. No, it's going to be all their
No.
underlings.
All the
that's gonna go to
lackeys.
jail. Yeah, that's how the government does it. Like with Hillary. Let's see, Hillary didn't go to jail. Huma Adine didn't go to jail, and Cheryl Mills didn't. But everybody underneath them went to jail. All them people that worked in them servers, they all went to jail. There was something like 46 people went to jail under Hillary, all because she dumped some emails. They put the server in a bathroom. She was making business on her non-military, her military. I mean her White House server, which is illegal.
There's a new documentary out. It is on Fox News. I don't pay attention to Fox News just as much as I don't pay attention to CNN. Like they're all corrupt. But it's called Scandalous. It's about the Clintons. I have not watched it yet. But it's a new documentary out. I don't know. Haiti, out of all of it, the Clinton Foundation and Haiti and Epstein connection is what I'm interested in more than I don't care about I hate to say I should care. Benghazi. I do care about Benghazi. These people and Gaddafi, because they were getting caught in doing illegal weapon trade in Libya. And then how she said they came in, they saw, and they killed, and she was laughing about it. And she's laughing about Gaddafi, which Gaddafi was one of the best people that Libya ever had. Tons of amazing things he did. Free energy, free gas almost, free electricity, free education to everybody. He was a really great leader in many aspects. But they were getting caught with the Libya illegal gun trade, which I think that's what's going on in Ukraine right now.
Oh, they're saying this Social Security was up for a week or two.
Usually it was up for a couple hours. The damage is already done. I mean, it doesn't take
so
long.
they're saying so it was dumped at the end of the year. That was with the Jan 6 dump on their website. Released hundreds of documents. So when the House released the Jan 6 committee released hundreds of documents and its investigations online at the end of the year. So this was before. So they just took them down today. So they were up for a good 2 weeks. It looks like. I would sue these people.
I would too.
Definitely. Man. They're saying December 2020. They won't put a date on it. That means it's bad. Oh my God. And then let's see who got him. It said.
Well, if I was Trump, I would sue for just the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, he's suing the FBI, but they're trying to get some other stuff going on there. Let's see. Government published
this is high organized crime. This is all mafia, mobster, Al Capone.
So wait, they didn't even bother to tell the GOP that this happened. It says the publishing office who was responsible for these files did not even inform the that their private information had been released. Oh, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to put it on this private agency and said they did it. But their information should have never been in the Jan 6. So you're not going to be able to blame it on them. They're going to have to. The committee's going to have to take responsibility for this.
Jan 6 was a flop.
Yeah, I know, and it was a big flop for them.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Governor Abbott, Texas governor's his was released. Carolina governor was released. Henry McMaster's was released from Health and Human Services. Alex Azar was released. Ben Carson's was released. It just goes on.
Ben Carson?
Yeah, Donald Trump's was released. House Speaker was released. I mean, this is major. I mean, these are major individuals.
Pelosi?
No, Pelosi's wasn't released. She's a Democrat. It was the only GOP that were released. Only people that came to the Jan 6 committee. It's only people.
Well, if that ain't a red flag, then I don't know what a red flag is.
So I don't know how they're going to get out of this. I mean, there's no way. They were left in the files intentionally.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, who would be stupid enough to leave a form?
Yeah, but the thing is, I can see you're going click, enter, oops, 1. That's a mistake. But click, 2000, enter, oops. No, that's
come out. There's no mistake. There's no mistakes when it comes to Social Security numbers. I work for federal government as a court reporter. I know that's not a high-end, classy thing, but
it's a good job, though.
But yes, but like I got just the cases we worked on Social Security. Like there's like avenues of where I can't copy and paste. Like it's in the system. Somebody high up in the system has to release that information. Yeah. Like I'd only see like the four digits of the last Social Security numbers to confirm that this is the people that's in the court system or whatever we were doing during that day. And So, and that's the federal court. So I would assume when it comes to all these government branches or January 6th committee that they may see that this somebody high up in this release this stuff.
Well, first off, Democrats do not know how to use computers. Obviously, I mean, Nancy Pelosi got in trouble.
They're not
Hillary
the
Clinton
smartest.
got ridiculously in trouble. Elizabeth Warren got in trouble. Barney Sanders and his wife both got in trouble. And his wife was a teacher. I mean, it's just Democrats. I mean, it's a good excuse, but obviously they don't know how to use a computer because I mean, I don't even know how you get 2,000 Social Security numbers released. I mean, people had to be reading through the stuff, going, "Oh, well, look, Donald Trump's Social Security number." And you know, another thing is, were the people who were reading this, were they highly? Because a lot of this stuff is classified information. So, well, these people did they have security?
It's a Q. It's QAnon, everybody. This is
probably is
trust,
QAnon.
Trust the plan. It's all part of the plan.
Well, that's a good. You know, that's a good segue because I was talking with a friend of mine today. And we were talking about a couple of things. So, you know, I was listening to a couple of other reports yesterday about this guy who was standing on the bleachers with the bullhorn directing traffic at Jan 6. So, you know, they found out through video that he's the one who cut the wire and opened the gates. Okay. He went up on this bleacher with a bullhorn and was directing people in. So a bunch of people have already gone to jail. A bunch of people have already been fined. Another 1,000 people are going to be. But for some reason, they can't find this one guy.
Ray Epps?
They can't find this one guy. They don't know who he is. They said they don't know who he is. They don't know where he came from. They said that for some reason the facial recognition software wasn't working correctly.
Of course. Cameras are never working.
So, well, they worked for everybody else. They caught all these other people. They knew what flight they took home. They knew who they were. They went right to their house and arrested them. You know, most of them didn't get big jail time, but this guy more than likely is a Democrat. And we're not going to find out who he is.
Out of all
and
of this,
if
I
it's the guy
want
I'm
to know
thinking
about
of, he was prominently on the news.
I know. And then he just
So how did they not find him?
Well, that's what I said.
CIA is what it is. So
It's got to be a.
I have a question then. We know that this January 6th collapse, it's a falsehood, it's a hoax, it's a waste of taxpayer money. So what's happening to the people that are still imprisoned in the DC jail up there, which I think Gates, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not a fan of Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm not whatsoever. I don't like her. I've studied her financial stuff that she's doing. She's a snake in my opinion.
I just want whatever she is that she's smoking. I want some of it. That girl's
well, that could be good things too, but you know, I will say this with her and Gates. Gates is really impressing me lately, and he's almost like too good to be true, so that's a red flag to me too. But they did go to the jail there in DC where all these people that were held imprisoned there at DC and tried to talk to I don't know if you all remember this. This was like a year and a half ago. No. Yeah, a year and a half.
Okay.
Well, 6 months or so, 6 months or 7 months after the 2020 insurrection happened. They go there to see what's going on and they demand to talk to the manager or I'm not a jail person. I'm sorry. But whoever's over the jail, they said, sure. They made Gates and Marjorie Taylor Greene stay outside. The guy comes out and starts talking to him. And actually, literally, I watched this. It was live. And then I went back and watched it. He turned around, physically ran, went back into the building and locked the doors on Gates and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Want to know what's going on with these people that's been held in prison there in DC. So we're finding out all of this stuff. What's happening to these people in jail right now? Like, I mean, if I was Gates or Marjorie Taylor Greene, I know this is super important to be there to vote for House Speaker, Speaker of the House. But all this stuff's going on. If I wasn't in the Capitol building, I'd be over there at the jail wanting these people gone.
So they were holding 810 till just recently. They're holding 255 still, and out of them, 85 of them have been charged with using deadly, dangerous weapons at the time. It's saying that most of those won't stick because there's no real evidence, but that's what they're doing at the moment. So that'll probably go up and down. They're expecting it to drop to 165 pretty soon. But by saying that, just recently today, I found that there's 1,000 more people that they want to talk to and look at.
Well, I'm going to tell you this: when it all comes down,
it won't matter now because the Republicans have the House. It's going to change.
Well, when it all comes down, I know about January 6th. Oh my Lord. And
Who said I was there? I was not there.
I was used in January 6th. I was not physically at January 6th, but I worked with the FBI for it. And this is the FBI person I worked with. And when it all comes down and when everything's done and said over, I will talk about it.
Yeah, that's another 2 years.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
Well, because the Republicans have got to do their Jan 6 now.
I can't talk about it until it's all said and done, everything, or it's going to.
Yeah, you'll get in trouble. I know how that works. I've been involved with too many of them freaking things over the years. It's, I was talking with some friends of mine. I was trying to find out who's going to be in charge of the committee that's going to look at the Jan 6 stuff, because the Republicans want to investigate everybody who was there. Plus, they want to talk to all the witnesses again, and they want to talk to the police department.
Here's a question. So the committee stuff, because this is coming up with this House Speaker McCarthy. So is that still the original committee, or people assigned to that committee, or are we waiting to vote to assign new people?
We're going to destroy the committee. It's not going to exist anymore. That's why they had to hurry up and release all the information and give it to the what's his name, the DOJ. That's why they did it. They rushed the end of it. They wanted to try to pull out. They were hoping they would win and be able to drag it out another 2 years. But now it's not. And then they found that a lot of these cases, the statute of limitations going away on because they weren't major crimes. So then there's the other problem. There was 2 pipe bombs found. One found in the RNC and one found at the GNC.
I think it was Cheney. I think Cheney was behind it.
Well, there were 2 pipe bombs. The funny part is they were both set to go off at 20 to 11. Neither one exploded, by the way. They said that the clocks didn't even work. This is what's so funny about that.
This is Democrats. It didn't even work. Okay.
It was just a distraction. That's all it was, because neither one of the clocks worked. So whoever put them there was not really intended to kill anybody, and they put one on each side. So that just tells you right off the bat.
And Schumer,
Cheney would have just killed him. Cheney ain't gonna play with that. Cheney's a mean bastard. His daughter ain't got no power.
If you rob a bank with if you try to rob a bank with an empty gun, you still get charged with the use of a lethal weapon. So you plant a bomb that doesn't go off or can't go off, you still planted the lethal weapon, right? So
it was meant to be a distraction to get the police over there and get it away. It's just, and apparently it worked, but they got to find out who did it. And for some reason, with all them cameras in there, now this is what's funny. The guy doing the investigation said, I can see this camera. I can see this camera. I can even see the person bending over, but I can't actually see them putting their hand on the bomb. But in the other one, they can. So they're like, come on, what's going on here? Why hasn't this person been arrested? Because, again, it's probably a Democrat. And now that the Republicans are in charge, some of these people will get arrested.
Well, here's something I want to know, too, about January 6th. Ashley Babbitt. I've asked this over and over and over. I've researched it. I can't find her death certificate anywhere. I can't find her obituary. And I have friends of mine that own funeral homes that know how to research death certificates. They've researched for two of them, and both of them cannot find her death certificate. So what happened to Ashley Babbitt?
It's a good question. No telling where she went.
I don't know.
She probably turned into witness, and she went into the witness protection program.
That maybe, or is that really her real name? Like, and then they have a grandfather, husband. Were they actors? Were they paid off? Was AOC involved in this, getting these actors?
AOC's an idiot. She couldn't wipe her own ass.
Anybody who wants to be in Congress, and this AOC encouraged me to run for office. So I'm hoping next go around, if Mike's husband's dying. I don't know if I've ever said that. Mm-hmm. That's my son's father. He is really bad off. He doesn't have cancer. He has secondary progressive MS. He's on a feeding tube now. He can barely walk. He's only 42 and he looks like 70 something. Only reason why I didn't run for any kind of office in Kentucky this past term is because my ex-husband and my son needs me. If we'll see what what happens in the next couple of years with my ex-husband. I plan on running. And the reason why I plan on running is because if AOC can hold a position, I can hold a position.
Well, that's because people living in the Bronx are dumbasses. That's the only way I can say it. Bronx people, I got friends down there. Y'all are dumbasses. AOC doesn't represent any of y'all. She never does anything for your district.
I think she was never even raised in the Bronx.
No,
there was a big, huge thing. Look,
she was a bartender in the Bronx, is what she was.
Yes, that's what it was. And she never really truly grew up and was raised in the Bronx.
No, she was Puerto Rican. So, I mean, I even hate to hear her speak, but you know what? At least she's honest. The other two, Omar and the other one, should be in prison or very sure. I mean, they do hate speech, which according to Congress is illegal. So I don't know how they're still in there. If any Republican said what she said about the Jews, they would be out of office.
Oh, well, Trump, what we find out, here's Elon Musk to the rescue. And I'm not a fan of Elon Musk. I don't support him.
Don't you talk about my sexy beast man, girl.
I don't support him that much, but I will tell you this. I do enjoy the Twitter files. I do enjoy the Twitter files. And this week, and I still haven't seen it unless it came out today, he was going to release the Fauci files on Twitter.
He released some of them. So that's what I said. That's what I was saying. There was a file that came out a couple of days ago that showed where Fauci actually ordered SARS-2 to be weaponized. He actually ordered it. What bothers me about this is Fauci shouldn't have that kind of power. He shouldn't.
Well, Fauci's daughter worked for Twitter. Fauci's daughter worked for Twitter.
A lot of their daughters probably worked for Twitter. That's why Elon started firing everybody. It was so over heavy with people's friends and families from different, political realms and restaurants and owners and Starbucks owners. And, it got time. Elon was like, oh, y'all got to go. Y'all can't stay here. Y'all got to go. Actually, Duran, am I saying that right? Elon got the Nero chip. So this is what he's going to do. He's building his colony on Mars. He's already got his spaceships going to do. So one day he's going to just slip them into everybody, especially you Starbucks drinkers. And the next day y'all going to be, we love Elon. We love Elon.
Well, see,
and all you damn liberals is going to take all of y'all off of our planet and bring y'all to Mars, and we'll have a nice, peaceful planet again.
Well, that's why we got to break down words, because these people use Hebrew a lot. El is God, lowercase g. On is above, which he's doing Mars, so he's God above. Elites, El is God, lowercase g. Ites is of the people. Like this could go on. Anything with L, like elementary, like the government has come in for elementary and break that down and what elementary means. Like they're all tied together. They got to tell us and show us what it is. And we got to break down these root words because they definitely use Hebrew. They definitely use Greek, but most likely Hebrew and Aramaic words in what they're using. And nobody's
I was going to go to heaven recently, and then I seen full, and I'm like, well, I might as well stay here as long as I can.
It's not full.
It says full. A big sign on it says full. It says if you're not in front of 144 tribes,
it says stand by. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming home soon.
Jesus was a Jew, so he's not going to go over the 144 tribes. He don't want to live in a crowded place like Earth.
I believe different.
Jesus said, "Look, you dumbasses, I tried to save y'all. Y'all just went on the stupid path y'all went on. So now heaven's closed. Now hell's still open, but heaven's closed." I hate to see what's going to happen when everybody dies. I'm coming back to purgatory, which is Earth. So I
think purgatory's now.
That's what I'm saying. Purgatory is Earth. I've been saying that for a long time. It's a matter of fact. I had several preachers that agree with me. We got several preachers that listen to this show to UFO.
That for a second.
It's and every now and then they'll pop in and say something. Southern Cross, he's great. He comes in. He's got a big, huge church in Kentucky, by the way.
Who is it?
And he goes under the. I can't use his real name on here, but he goes by Southern Cross, and
I'm gonna look him up right now.
I met him doing UFO Undercover. He came in and he said, "I want to be able to explain to my flock what UFOs and aliens are." He said because he had heard that I had spoke with Monsignor Balducci about it, and Monsignor was very close to the Pope at the time, so. And he's like, well,
it's not Tommy Bates, is it?
I can't say his name. I don't know it anyway.
Aaron
right
Solomon.
I'd have to go look it up. Listen, I'm trying to get me in trouble.
Message it to me. I want to know because I love Kentucky. I support Kentucky, so I want to know.
He's a really good religious guy. He's a really good guy in general, and he somehow or another he ended up very wealthy. I'm not sure how that happened, but I think his family left him some money. No, Jesus didn't give no money. Jesus didn't have money. Jesus was broke.
Jesus had a seamless robe.
He was broke.
It doesn't matter.
That's why he threw rocks at his ass. He didn't have no money to pay for nothing. They're like, get out of here, bum. We can't have you.
Well, he got a kingdom, didn't he? He ended up getting a kingdom.
Yeah, but not here, up there.
And here's something.
He needs to be a kingdom down here.
If we want to put Jesus in all this, here's something I get upset with people here lately. This goes in with the QAnon folks. We'll sit and pray about it. We're going to pray about it. Let me tell you, in the Bible times, there was people coming through the roof to get to Jesus to make him king. In Revolutionary War, we got sick of the taxes. We got sick of all this stuff. And where did we meet up that the government X'd out during COVID? We met up in pubs. Hallelujah. And we met up in churches. Hallelujah. And we fought against the government. So, we got to get off our butts. You got to stop being freaking mind controlled by CIA, QAnon, and you got to stop being lazy through church saying we're going to pray about it. We got to get up off our butts and do something. I would already be doing something. I hate to say this. It's an excuse in some ways. I have no military background. None. But I do have weaponry. And my dad's a veteran, but he's 76. He's not like, if I'm waiting, I don't want to put pressure on any kind of veteran. I know what everybody's gone through in some aspects with PTSD, but I'm waiting on some military people, veterans, to step up. I will listen to direction. I know how to do that. And if
the time comes, we'll step up. But right now, there's nothing to get involved with. Right now, there's just too much control on the other side, so you just end up in jail or bankrupt.
How much money are we going to give to Ukraine when we're struggling here in the United States? How much? I'm taxed 48%. I'm taxed.
God damn, girl, you need to get an accountant.
No, I am an accountant.
Well, you need to go back to school. I'm not going to tell you what I pay because you'll get upset.
I'm saying 48% when it comes to my income tax returns, federal and state, and local. And then I'm also talking about taxed on food, taxed on clothing, taxed on all this. 48% taxed. I'm sick of it.
Well, I
got audited. I got audited by the IRS, and I'm sitting. I looked this up on all of social media. Everybody's posting about this. They got audited. I guess it's 87,000 people that Biden hired or they've hired to put in. I got audited, and it says I owe the IRS $3,200. I'm like, how's this? I've done all of these things, and it's going back to a tax return from 2019. And I have no clue what that is. So I'm going to have to pull up all my tax returns this weekend to find out what this is. And it's BS because I'm taxed out the yin yang. I'm a single parent. I actually don't file head of household. I pay more. I don't even claim my kids so I can pay more. And I owe? That's bullshit.
You shouldn't know, that's for sure. Single mom.
I'm not paying them. They can kiss my ass. They can put me in
jail for that kind of stuff.
They can put me in jail. I will not pay them.
They can put you in jail for 10 years for that. Actually, doesn't even matter. $1.
They're coming after a single mother in Kentucky for $3,200. I will write that sucker off. I will find ways.
They agree. What you do is you make the local media informed, and they'll inform the state media because they're all locals, and they'll start bitching about it, and they'll just leave it alone. They'll be like, "Well, it's a bad idea."
I'm not go that way. I'm this weekend. That's one of the things I'm doing this weekend is researching.
Well, some good news is the new house, is going to limit some of that money and redirect it somewhere else. They're going to remove.
Well, I'm gonna file Zelensky as a dependent.
That's a good idea.
I'm literally going to do Zelensky.
It's a good idea, actually. So you're giving him all this money. I mean, so far, what is it? 80 billion? I think we've given him so far, or 70 billion. It's a lot of money, and for such a little country. Now he's saying he was popping up dates today when the war is going to end.
Well, here's something too. Oh golly, geez. What's his face? I'm not a big, huge fan of him, but he was right. What's his name? Not War Room, not Cannon, but he just got over the school up in New York, or what's his name? He's been around for a long time. He got sued.
I try to ignore New York.
No, it's not New York. He's a huge, big name. He disclosed. Goodness gracious, it'll come to me here in a minute. But golly, what was his name? What's his name? Jay.
This Jay.
Steve.
Jay has a lot of aliases. I think like 30 of them. So you better be careful.
It's Angley. It's Angley is what it is.
Uncle Angley. Yes, we haven't seen Uncle Angley in a long time. I think he moved to Mars with Elon.
Yorktown. What was his name? Oh my gosh, this is terrible.
That's what happens. Old age does that to you, baby.
It is. I'm 42. I'm going to be 43. I'm going to be 43.
So you're just a baby, man. No, my God. You're just a baby. I got kids as old as you almost. It's my son's 37.
Oh, he's not almost. He's super young still.
And my granddaughter's 36.
Granddaughter 36?
Yes, no who gave me 2 great grandkids, and one of them who's 18 going to college is thinking about making me a great granddad. And I told him I would kick his ass. So I'm way too young.
That's why you got 2 glasses on your head, right?
Well, no, yeah, but it's because I got two. I got stepkids too. My wife's a few years older than me, about 13 of them. So the family's kind of weird the way it works out. But it's strange.
You like this? I just put in the private chat. So far, and this is not just the U.S., but so far the Kiel Institute has tracked $93.8 billion in euros.
Holy crap.
In 40 countries.
Holy crap.
Humanitarian military aid to Ukraine since January 24th till October 3rd, 2022.
Money laundering, everybody.
Billion euros.
Money laundering. Ukraine's a cesspool. Ukraine's a cesspool. And let me tell you this, the biolabs in Ukraine, I pulled them. I got 9 of the biolabs before they shut the embassy down, website down. I got 9 of them. So there is a location in Ukraine, China, Chyna. Honestly believe that's where COVID came from that location, not China, Wuhan. I've researched a little bit about it, not too much. I could be wrong. I'm not saying this is, but Trump, he kept going China. I don't know if he knew it could have possibly been Ukraine because it's Chyna. And we have biolabs, and it was funded.
What they're talking about, though, right?
Well, it was funded. Hold on, I have it on my website. The Ukraine report. And I posted these. I only got 9 of them. There's like 24 of them total, but they shut the web from
I am an alien from beyond.
Here we go. If I can share my screen. Hold on, let me see if I can click on this. I can't click on it but these are all funded by the DOD. Share screen. And I know Joe stepped away. His mic's not muted, but
yeah, no, I'm sorry, guys. I went to go turn the air conditioner down. My feet were freezing its ass off in here. Sorry. It's only it was cold in my house. I don't know what to tell you. It's I had the AC. I only had the AC on 70, but it was cold. By the way, Emily starts with us next week, guys. At what?
Oh 6? Yeah, Olympic Freak Live. No, 7 to 8 Eastern. Well, 7 to 8 Eastern Standard Time.
6 to 7. Like I have to train these hosts. It's always Central Time. The network itself is in Central Time. I'll get y'all trained. Don't worry.
Central. Okay. 6 to 7
6 to
your
7
time,
Central.
7 to 8 my time. Okay.
Yes, and she's drive time for California.
Next week too, it's gonna be really interesting because it's Friday the 13th, and I'm so excited to start on Friday the 13th. I'm a Friday the 13th baby, but I have two.
My mom.
Well, I have two of my friends on. They're horror people. They have really great shows. Nick Millay and Don Elmy, and then my co-host. I hate to say host Rick Dunn. He's actually my boss. And I told him he's really into politics, so I'd like for him to come on.
Tell him we're looking for hosts for this show because we're going to extend it an hour, so we're looking for hosts for it.
Okay, awesome. I would love to have him come on and talk about some of this stuff. But next week's Friday the 13th. I have them come on. We're going to be talking about Jason Friday the 13th, but it's also tied to the Girl Scout murders of the 1970s that happened. I don't know if anybody knows about this, but there's documentaries. It's on several different
Girl
networks.
Scouts probably had it coming.
These girls are super young though. They're like 5, 6, 7 years old.
Oh, that's got Girl Scouts. And what is this another name for them?
It's Girl Scouts.
Cub
it happened, I think, it's Oklahoma. And then 3 years later, Friday the 13th came out, Jason, and we have all this camp stuff. But then we have a lot of Friday the 13th murders that's happened in the last 2 years, including the Idaho 4 in Idaho. So we're going to be talking about a lot of that. It all comes together. But I want to go to this Ukraine thing because I'm really excited.
Well, $93 billion, I think a lot of money to give them. Joe. I'm not so much
dollars.
More,
dollars, euros. It's euros, Joe, not dollars.
Oh, so it's a little less than. Okay,
93.8 billion euro.
You got control of moving it now.
These are the only. Let's see, 8. I got 8, maybe 9. I don't know. No, these don't run together. 8. I got 8 before.
Can I make it full size?
This literally, I got this off of the website before it crashed or they took it down. I got really early into this. But these are the biolabs in Ukraine that was funded by the Department of Defense of the United States. And then you have to go in and research each of these labs to see what they're doing. I almost believe I don't have China area, I don't think. Hold on.
Well, I got 2 people on the ground, and I got 2 people on the ground. I think
they probably deleted that one first.
We've got a reporter that's doing stuff for the BBC over there who works for us.
China, all this stuff, Ukraine is a preliminary of what happened. You know what came out of Ukraine? Swine flu. And then what else came out of Ukraine, I believe, honestly, is COVID because it's China, CHYNA lab. They started destroying all the paperwork and everything. And when I saw that video, I'm like, I'm going to go over to the embassy and I'm going to look this stuff up. It's all here. It's right underneath our nose. And you can look. The Department of Defense of the United States was the donor. They funded all of this. And then guess what else was in Ukraine being developed? It was the what Bill Gates said we were going to have.
But measles. I don't understand why they would use the Ukraine. The China's labs are much more advanced
because it's accessible. Wait till you.
That's what I mean.
What's coming out of Taiwan?
Taiwan has the labs that contain stuff. Ukraine really don't, and we know where SARS came from. SARS came from the United States originally. We know where it came from. We know its origins. We know where it started.
Where did what was the powder?
SARS-2 COVID came out of Wuhan.
Where did
unfortunately we had people? I got to tell y'all something.
Anthrax?
If y'all remember this, so when this first started, we had people on the ground in Wuhan. We had videos and pictures. We still got them somewhere, and they're still up. The videos are actually still up where they're available. So we were watching. They were showing you when the hotel collapsed and all the people who were still there. They were showing them carrying bodies, and the bodies would kick every once in a while. Now, doesn't mean they were alive. Those bodies do move after they're dead, but still. But they had 40 incinerators there. A good friend of mine who's from Beijing. He was walking all through it. He said it was disgusting. The whole town smelled. He said the whole place was just. We had actually 3-4 people on the ground in Wuhan, and there's probably more than 100 people in China that work for us now. It's the whole thing was a disaster. And then all of a sudden, we started getting videos from Beijing and other cities. There were ghost towns. And when I mean ghost towns, there wouldn't. The only thing you would see is these guys in white suits spraying this shit all over the place, and nothing else. Paper rolling down the street. There was no people to be seen anywhere.
I saw that on a cruise ship because I was the last cruise ship to go out on March the 13th, which is my birthday. Friday. It wasn't Friday the 13th, but and they had all those people spraying stuff down. And I felt like I was the most safe there in 2020 going to Bahamas, and I'm glad I kept
you know what? You could not pay me money to get on a cruise ship. Them son of a bitches. They get all kind of diseases. They get all kind of accidents. I just don't even want to be on one. They're just dangerous.
I felt good.
They're just dangerous, man. When we actually did a segment on cruise ships one time. It was bad. I mean, it was bad. We did a segment on it. It was bad. It was. I mean, you know what it really is, ladies and gentlemen.
Think about it. You got thousands of people getting drunk, puking everywhere, puking on the decks, in their rooms, on the hallways. There's disease everywhere.
Yeah, I'll tell y'all this. There's one cruise line, as far as keeping everything clean, that outshines everybody. So I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to give them.
Hopefully it's Cardinal.
It's but no, it's they're one of the ones they're one of the ones with bad health things.
That was the best trip I ever
had. They got
had.
great ships. I mean, but now there's two news coming out that are going to do really good, but they had to crack down. I mean, they were having bad food. People were getting food poisoning. And it was just, and none of this stuff isn't not directly intentional. It's just the way it played out. I mean, you know, sometimes it's got loose, or an a refrigerator would go out and nobody would know and come back on. That's why they tell you, if you live in the South, they always tell you the same thing. Put a quarter in a glass of water in your freezer and leave it there. That way, if you ever come home and it's not on the top, you know the refrigerator went off and refroze. That's a real easy way to check your freezer. And we live in a deep South where power does go out from time to time. So it's a good way to know. And I have two freezers. I got one upstairs, one downstairs. So, you know, I got food in different places. And I just want to know. And there has been times I've come home to a freezer full of food and the quarter's at the bottom of the glass, which means it completely melted that glass of ice and then refroze, which means none of that food in the freezer was good anymore. But the difference is if you don't catch it, boom. You just serve that shit to everybody. You're sick as a dog. And that's not even intentional. It's just stuff that happens.
We're Appalachia. Like, if it's barely brown, we'll still cook it.
You're after my own heart, babe.
Yeah, it's good. We just throw some spices on there. We do some herbs.
Herbs are good.
We do. I do a lot of Italian herbs. I'll tell you that on a lot, and I do a lot of garlic salt. You can cover up anything in garlic, right, Jay?
I love garlic.
Oh, I love garlic.
I love garlic. Okay. It keeps them damn vampires away from me, and it tastes good at the same time. Jeremy, no, we're gonna talk about Biden's gaffe later on. I got a clip to play later, but we're not right now. But we will after a while. Jimmy, yes, I have to agree with you. Whoever released those Social Security things are insane. I mean, somebody's in deep shit. There's no way out of it. Somebody has to pay for this. Now, it's not going to be anybody big. I'm hoping it's Cheney because I hate that bitch. And you know what? This is. I have a problem because I loved her daddy. Her daddy was evil. He was maniacal. He was a bastard, and he had a plan. So I loved the bastard, even though he's evil. You know, he was Darth Cheney. He was evil. I mean, the guy had a heart attack. Got a heart replacement and was back to work in 3 days. I mean, give me a freaking break. That's why we started calling him Darth Cheney. I mean, it was insane. This guy is a beast. And
he's physically related to Bush, right?
I don't care if he is. Bush is an idiot. He was. Somebody in the family is intelligent.
Bush and Cheney are both physically related to Obama.
They, well, they're not going to ever say they are. They hate that bastard. Dick Cheney could not stand him.
No, well, George Bush Jr. is best friends with Michael or Michelle, however you want to.
Oh yeah, now Baby Bush loves Obama, but Cheney hated him.
They're cousins. They're family. They're family.
They well then and Michelle.
Smoke and mirrors. There's always smoke and mirrors, everybody.
So Michelle, look, I don't even want to go there. Don't even send me the pictures. We're not even going to talk about it tonight. No. We'd have to change. We would have to change the rating of the show if we talked about that. So we're not going to talk about it. It's well, at least high R rated at the very least. It's no, there's some interesting pictures.
Only Joe will see those pictures. We don't feel so bad.
No, I don't want to see them damn pictures either. It's not something I want. An image I want in my brain. You know, it's like those two pictures they did at the end of the White House, the flower picture and the toilet picture.
I keep thinking of her being on the
president
Ellen.
thought that was a good idea, man? I mean, give me a break.
I think of her on the Ellen DeGeneres show is all I gotta say, doing her aerobics.
You know, for a lesbian, I loved Ellen. She was insane, but she's a local girl.
I thought you were going to say you loved Michelle, or it's nothing wrong with that.
Look, I did not. You know what? I cannot stand the Obamas, but I got to be honest about this before we move on. I didn't dislike Obama himself. The problem for him is he never had a chance. He was done before he started. He's a junior senator. He'd never been in politics ever in his life. He was a community organizer. That would be like taking a guy who serves me cake at the card place, you know, and making him president. He never even got a chance to really serve as a junior senator. I don't even think he made a vote. And then all of a sudden, he's president of the most powerful world and country in the world.
You know who funded him before he got in public office? Jeffrey Epstein.
You know how much he spent to get in office, right?
Well, Jeffrey Epstein spent it.
Jeffrey Epstein, he spent $1 billion each time. He actually spent more money in his first election than the last 10 presidents combined.
Go back and follow the money. Jeffrey Epstein.
He's not in none of Jeffrey's logs like the Clintons are. He's not in any of the logs. And you know what? I got a question for everybody. So Epstein's woman, the woman who did all of this, that went around recruiting all these girls for him, who's going to be in prison the rest of her life.
20 years.
So why didn't they go check any of her clients?
Well, because I'll tell you why. Because the clients are not who we're going to think they are. Because the clients are the parents that made out more than anything. They sold their children.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the clients on the island. So she had a list of clients.
Oh, we have all that. I have it on my website.
That's what I'm saying, though. They never went.
Because it's Democrats.
It's not all Democrats, but they never went and knocked on the door. It's they made the planes, the main plane. They made the flight log public.
I have all the flight log on my website.
Trump wasn't on that flight log, but
he was twice on that flight log.
Bill was on there 27 times.
Oh, more than that, actually. But Trump was on it twice, and Trump.
Well, no, there were two different planes. So the one I was looking at, Trump was not on it. And matter of fact, it was a week after Trump had met Epstein when he banned him from Mar-a-Lago.
This is the first time I've heard of this. What's the second plane? I have Lolita.
There was more than one. There was more than one plane. So it depended who you were, where you were going to ride, is what it really came down to.
I got like 500 and some pages of all the flight logs.
There were a lot of people who went there. And ladies and gentlemen, so y'all know, not everybody on the island was illegal or underage. Matter of fact, the majority of them weren't.
We're not talking about underage, but all the underage kids came from submarines or water transport, not from the flight logs.
Well, they didn't put them on the planes until they were legal to go flying with them. I guess we could ask Prince Andrew about this and see what he has to say.
Well, Prince Andrew's on there, but Trump was on it twice. I'm just a truthful person. Trump was on it twice.
And that must have been why Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago then.
He did kick him out of Mar-a-Lago. And the only transport he was on and he had his whole family with him on that flight log from Florida to New York and New York back to Florida. And that was it. He didn't go intercoastal or over to other countries or anything.
Yeah, like Trump landed and probably had his daughter with him and looked around and said, "Oh my God, I'm leaving this place." And Trump, one thing I got to give Trump he's not into children. He's into women. And you can tell by the 3 he married and the ones he supposedly screwed around with. That's why anytime you seen like this 20-year-old came up and said they were with Trump, it's not what Trump wanted. Trump wanted a woman. See, even as a single man, I wouldn't want somebody that age. I'd want somebody 30, 40, 50. I wouldn't, because no one that age could even keep up. I'd be like, well, they have no brains in their head at that age. I mean, that's just.
Well, I hate to say this, the sex scandals and stuff with Epstein is just the tip of the iceberg, honestly. It goes a lot deeper.
But it doesn't really matter now. Epstein's dead. She's in prison, so it's over.
I don't know if he's so much dead.
It's over with. It's not. Nobody cares anymore. If he ain't dead, he's being tortured somewhere. For letting this get out.
Tortured probably in Israel.
It's so it doesn't really matter. It's over as far as the press is concerned. It's over with. They're not going to mess with it anymore because probably half of them are involved, and so they're just not going to bother with it anymore. But there's other things out there. There's other scandals running around. There's lots of
Wiener's
stuff
laptop. I want to know more about Wiener's laptop. Hunter Biden's laptop. We haven't even.
Wiener's laptop was interesting because they did release some stuff off his laptop. So I thought it was funny that Huma Adine, in case y'all didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, Huma Adine is what was he, a senator or House rep? And anyway, that was his wife. Why she would marry that little runt shithead of a guy is beyond me. Huma's gorgeous, people. I don't know why she would marry that moron.
She's dating is it Cooper right now?
And,
what's his name?
So, I was like, Jesus, people.
Well,
I guess
she was also the assistant to Hillary Clinton.
Still is assistant to Hillary Clinton.
Is she really?
Mm-hmm. Her and Cheryl Mills aren't never going anywhere. According to recent press, that's a love triangle. New, recent and old press. They said that they all three have been lesbians for a long time.
I believe that. I don't know if it's just lesbians.
Well,
Bradley Cooper.
I would believe that. But Hillary could. How old is Hillary? I mean, I just. Okay, I'm gonna be nice. I'm just gonna be nice.
She's in her 70s at least.
She's a raisin,
even if they're not a lesbian triangle, the fact is that she probably knows way too much about the Clintons' private stuff that they can't let her go.
Well, that's why they never divorced, Jay. They're not going to divorce because they can't. Yeah. They're not going to testify against each other.
Well, Cheryl and Huma got the goods on them, so they're going anywhere. But you got to be careful with Hillary. Bill, not so much, but Hillary, you got to be careful with. If she thinks you're going to jeopardize her, she will kill your ass. She's I mean, there's 132 deaths associated with her. So I mean, just too many.
Well, we know who her dad is, right? You know who her dad was, right? He took over the mafia portion of Chicago after Al Capone passed away. Her last name, they changed her last name. Was it Hillary Dunham? What's her last name?
Yeah.
Maiden name? They changed it. She actually has an actual Jewish last name, and they changed it.
That's probably good because she wouldn't have been able to get in politics with it.
Al Capone. Well, Bill is kind of in that same circle there too, but he dealt with a lot of drugs in Arkansas, and that's how they met. But Huma Abedin, however you say her last name, she's dating right now Bradley Cooper.
It's interesting. Huma's an interesting woman. Why she was with that little run of a bastard? Yeah, she's not. She's messed up, but she's interesting and she's intelligent. Cheryl's interesting too, and she's intelligent. And
I want to know what Pizzagate's all about. I want to know.
Well, Cheryl Mills is Hillary's personal lawyer, and apparently she's a damn good one. And
here's something else: these all run together. They all use the same attorneys: Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and John Benet Ramsey's dad. All use the same attorney firm. And then people don't know this about the John Benet Ramsey's dad, Dudley. He actually built the airport to North Fox Island in Michigan, which was the first original pedo island to all this mafia group. And I believe John Benet Ramsey's tied, like this has been going on a long time. Colorado, we got the airport, we got all this stuff that's going on over there. It's absolutely crazy.
I'm going to tell y'all something, and which aggravates a lot of people. So we talk about a lot of these old cases or cold cases, which is cool. But it does harm to the future cases and the cases that are here right now. So when you're spending that much time and giving that much press to cases that are probably not going to ever get solved, you're damaging the chances of cases right now to get solved. Lots of law enforcement has talked about this. Lots of big agencies have talked about this because they're not getting the press. So, you know, when a story comes out about a particular one,
because who?
Well, no, they would have. So you got to weigh it out. So if the media wasn't having these cases to talk about because somebody brought them back into light, they would have to talk about the cases that are present day. They wouldn't have a choice because they wouldn't have no news.
I don't know who runs those circles, and that those circles have gotten bigger over time. And
it's a little different now. They used to be all friends and buddies, but over the years, because of stocks and stuff like that, they're not all friends and buddies.
Runs every media company. George Soros.
He wishes. He wishes.
No, he does.
George Soros doesn't. He doesn't have that kind of pull, and he definitely doesn't have anything to do with Fox. Okay, the biggest media company in the United States is Fox, and he has nothing to do with Fox. Fox is huge. You can take all the media companies yet left in this country, and they still are not as big as Fox. And Fox has the top 12 #1 shows in the country. So he doesn't have any control with them, and they're always bantering against Fox. So what's happened over the years is the other agencies have gotten disjointed from each other. because they have to compete with each other because they can't compete with Fox. They just can't. It's the only
I don't
ones.
know who watches Fox anymore. I don't watch any of them.
But yet they have millions and millions and millions and millions of viewers, and we're going by a liberal setup who's saying that they have the biggest networks, because you can't lie about them. They're just huge. And when it comes to news, it's just no. And what gets me is it doesn't matter when one of their hosts falls. It just seems another one just fills in and takes those numbers. Because I'm not a big fan of Tucker Carlson, but he just came right in and took all them big numbers from several other hosts that bit the big one. It's a tough thing, but now it's just a little bit different because CNN don't want to have anything to do with NBC. They don't want to be associated with them. They don't want to share news. They don't want to share reports. CNN is actually kind of moving a little conservative, and ABC and CBS are thinking about it because they're getting their asses kicked.
The 92-year-old millionaire philanthropist, multi-million-dollar millionaire, owns 253 groups of global media. He, in the United States, Soros is known for his massive involvement backing liberal policies and politicians. Since the 2016 election, he has spent at least $200 million backing political candidates, which includes $29 million for local prosecutors and district attorneys. And we know a lot of that goes into the state of Pennsylvania. Soros was the largest donor to Democrats during the midterm elections. Drop a bucket compared to over $32 billion he pumped into the Open Society Foundations. Soros is also tied to the Marshall Project. The Biden administration since dismantled disinformation governance boards, Project Syndicate, Open Democracy based on the United Kingdom. Like, he has influence multi-countries, like over the whole entire world, and most of his money goes into Ukraine.
That's the influence he's got. Now, maybe whoever's booking his money's got influence, but Soros don't even know his. He's like a Biden. He don't even know where he's at most of the time. He's off in some I don't know where the hell he is.
We look just at Soros alone. In the last 3 years, I believe it has supported, get this, 253 media organizations worldwide. Bozell. This is Bozell. Who's Bozell? This is Fox News. Brent Bozell appeared on Fox News at night on Monday to discuss a deep dive into Soros' media ties. Everywhere you look, when you look at the Poynter Institute, a big fact checker is funded by George Soros. How many people know that when you go on Google and you look up something, immediately you get Wikipedia, which is funded by George Soros? George Soros funds everything.
Okay, Wikipedia is not funded by anybody.
It's funded by George Soros.
No, it's not. Wikipedia. Look, you know what? It's funny you said that because I was looking at something right now. I'm on Wikipedia. They're begging for money. You don't
ever use Wikipedia.
They're begging for money. Wiki. Start off with. Yep. I started with Wiki. Just so you know this, I started with Wiki when it came out. Okay, I was one of the founders with Wiki. We were the ones that Wiki is not owned by anybody, and it would be totally illegal for someone to own Wiki. It's not the way it works. It's a public resource. So someone can't own it like that. It could be owned by stocks and stuff like that, but no one person can own it. You have to, there are certain things, when you follow a certain trail, Soros would like to own a lot of things.
You're getting this confused with owning and funding.
Well, you can't fund it. They wouldn't be bugging for money. And let me know, so you understand this, even for Soros, it doesn't matter who he is. He can only give X amount of money to any one thing. It's illegal. We have rules about it.
I'm going to tell you this, as a multi-college degree, 3 bachelors and 2 masters. I'm telling you this, if I referenced Wikipedia in college, I would get an F on a paper.
Yeah, because you shouldn't do it.
So don't even look at Wikipedia as a reference, period.
Well, Wiki's good for some things.
It's a good reference. It's not the best reference. You know, many of the articles are publicly added on and can be publicly edited later on. For instance, there's an article on there on the weapon Nunchaku, which I have attributed to and commented on and edited several times because they had it wrong. And now that it's almost 100% correct, there's still a few things in there that are incorrect. But in any event, it's a public forum, so it's like
it's just like going to Reddit.
Yeah, that's another.
I almost trust Reddit writers than Wikipedia. At least Reddit writers have a username that you might be able to track.
Well, you can track the ones on Wiki too. They have things on Wiki. Mine, I forgot what I used. I think I used JoJo Mon 1 over there, but I've done hundreds of edits on Wiki because that's what Wiki's about. It's about the people who know stuff and the people who don't. It's always been about that, but you can't trust Wiki on some things. They're good for like television and media and things like that. Yeah, they're going to be pretty accurate on who's on that show and how long they've been on there and stuff like that. That's pretty good. Politics is iffy, is the best I can say, because what happens is people let their personal feelings get in the way on Wiki, so they want to change the truth. They want to. How can I say this? They want to fudge the truth. That's the only way I can say it. It's ridiculous on how they do those kind of things.
George Fund Management LLC is a private American investment management that owns.
So let me ask you something. What do you think is going to happen to George's money? Because he's about to croak. He ain't got long left on the planet.
He ain't gonna live. He's gonna live. He's a lizard, and he's gonna live through.
He'll be dead. He'll be dead.
He's gonna live through Zelensky because that's.
So is it true that he's given all of his money to charities?
No.
If that's the case, then all of his companies, and he might, because I have noticed this about really rich people lately. They've been
he's
known
over
the people.
To be, what is it? He's known to be the man that broke England or something. George Soros was known to be the man that broke the Bank of England or something like that.
He just ain't got that much money. I mean, there's much wealthier people out there. The Cooch brothers got way more money than he does. Fox has got way more money than he does.
That's corporations that he owns.
Got way more money than he does.
You're talking about corporations that he owns.
He don't own
those. But when it comes down, what is the?
He would be relisted in the top 10 richest men in the world. He's not. He's not even in the.
Well, you know who's in the top 10 richest men of the world? Ihor Zlomovsky. And guess who Ihor Zlomovsky is? He formed Burisma. And guess what else he founded? He founded the entertainment industry that Zelensky worked for.
Okay. Hold on.
He's in the top 10.
I'm sending somebody an invite while we're chatting. Okay, there we go.
Good. I'm going to take a. Is it Trish?
It's Trish. Yeah, she's going to join us in a minute.
Okay, I saw her comments. Okay, I want Trish.
Yeah, she's going to join us in a minute.
Okay, awesome. I love her. I'm going to step away real quick.
No, good. We got you. We got a couple other topics we got to go across to wherever.
But I want to say Ihor Zlomovsky. Everybody, listen to me right now. Look up Ihor Zlomovsky. Follow the money.
Every time you say that, I think you're saying Lazinski. I'm like, what the hell? I got to get it out of my head.
Your buddies, and he owned the entertainment show that Zelensky was on. Okay, and he owns Burisma. He's one of the top 20 wealthiest people in the world. Okay, I'll be right back. My dog needs to go out.
Just for the record, George Soros' net worth $6.7 billion US. That's not pity. That's a lot, but
that's just in US too. That's just in US.
Wait, how much? Did you say 6? Yeah. That's like chump change.
No, it's not. Billion?
Yes, that's chump change.
No.
For the really rich world, that is chump change. I'm just telling you.
No.
That's chump change.
No, not
Elon gives that to his daughter and shit, man. That's chump change.
But here's the thing with Elon. People don't understand. Elon just bought more shares than the people that own Twitter. Who owns Twitter? It's the same groups that owns Tesla. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, Elon. Elon owns Tesla.
Oh no, you got BlackRock.
But he has controlling interest.
I'll be right back.
He owns Twitter outright, but he has controlling interest of Tesla, and he owns SpaceX outright. He's the man is. He's always going to be he's second richest man in the world right now, and he'll soon be the first richest man in the world again. It's just a matter of time for Tesla stock to go back up. Now that he's going back. That's all they wanted was him to come home and take care of the little babies with their electric cars. They couldn't take him. He was somewhere else. Oh, Elon, you can't do us this. He's going to give all of them the chip pretty soon, too, so they'll all just worship at the Elon altar. We love Elon. We love Elon.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Elon is like the guy from Moonraker, people. I love Elon to death, but he's like the guy from Moonraker. He's going to moonrake your asses.
$138.4 billion rich, this guy is.
Yep. The only man to ever lose $200 billion. Also, still the richest African-American in the world.
Is he
Every
really?
time I say that, everybody, yeah, well, he is. He's second richest person in the world, and he's African-American, so he's just the wealthiest African-American in the world. Boy, I know people get so mad about he's not African-American. My ass, he's from South Africa. That's Africa last I checked, and he's American now, so that makes him, well, African American. Don't be racist and think only black people can be African American. That's racist, people. Let's not go there. I'm just saying, let's not go there. You're being racist if you're being like that. Elon's a lot of fun to talk about. He's crazy. I wish he'd run for Senate because he can't ever be speaker. So, I wish he'd run for Senate. Somebody's like, he could be the speaker of the House. No, he couldn't, because that's the third closest thing to president. They're not going to let him. He can't ever be president. So he's done. His mom is from Canada and his daddy's from South Africa. There's no way he can be president of the United States. And as much as we love him, they're not going to change the laws for him. The liberals thought he was their best friend. He was giving all kind of money to liberals, and they loved him and was buying his Tesla cars. And all of a sudden, he come out and said, "Y'all some lying son of a bitches. We're going to fix this right now." I got to give him credit. That takes balls to do that. I mean, he lost a lot of money, changed his whole world, and still he's not backing down from his thing. He's like, "Nope, this is how it's going to be. Y'all are bullshit. And I'm going to change the world." He wants to leave a legacy. I got to give him credit. He wants to be loved and known, and he was a little geek boy that grew up in school getting beat up. He wants to change the world. Hopefully he does. Hopefully it changes. I'm all for him changing it for the better. I like the guy. I don't think there's anything wrong with the guy. I mean, I'm sure he's got his quirks like every other idiot on our planet. No, I don't know. You mean Bill Gates? No, I don't think Bill Gates is even in the top 5 anymore. I'd have to go check. I think Jeff Bezos is richest right now. I don't know for sure. I'd have to go look. But Bezos was the richest man in the world with $300 million until his wife said, "Hey, guess what, baby? You shouldn't have screwed around." Yeah,
$106 billion for Bezos.
See, he's rich, man.
$106 billion.
Yeah, they're rich people, and they're not liking our politics in our country. Even Jeff Bezos, who's a liberal, is looking at the Liberal Party like, "What is this? What are y'all doing?" And nobody who's got money is going to think this thing with the Social Security is funny, liberal or not. Nobody, the independents, the Republicans, even a lot of liberals are going to be like, "What was this?" You can't see. That just proves the government can't be trusted. There's been so much stuff leaked about Trump since he ran for office and became president, got out, than any other person ever in the history of the United States. It's just sad that they leaked that much shit.
Well, they all loved him before he became president.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I remember when he's talking to Nancy Pelosi about how much money he gave her, and but then he ran as a. If he'd ran as a liberal, they would still love him. They would be worshiping him at the Trump altar.
He probably would still want him.
He did run as a liberal at one time.
Yeah, but then he didn't work for him. He decided, "I'm going to be a Republican." Republicans are more fun anyway.
We are.
I'm a centrist.
Republicans have secrets.
Nuts. I stay in the middle.
I will never tell people. Lord have mercy. If I ever run for office and they find out about that, I'll be scared. I'll just say that.
I was asked when I was younger. I was asked to run for office several occasions. Every time I said no. And I was asked by
I would have ran for office this past time, but my ex-husband's super sick and my son needs me, so it's gonna have to wait.
I just coming in as a newbie, it takes too long to build up power in Congress to really make a difference. And if they don't like you, you're never going to get it anyway. So it's just one of those things. I mean, there's some good people in the Congress, but they're never going to get anyway because they can't make the big guys give them the money or help them out or put them on the right committees to make a difference. So they end up just kind of like AOC, walking around with a thumb up her ass. Everybody likes AOC, and she gets a lot of press, and she's fine.
Who likes her?
I'm talking about on the liberal side.
Okay.
I'm sorry, on the progressive side. Let me rephrase that. The liberals hate her too. Yeah, the liberals hate her too. Nancy Pelosi really hates her, but she don't know how to get rid of her. And nobody seem to beat her. I mean, every time she runs, she wins at a landslide. So, but
she lies all kind. Remember when she gave that big sack story about her grandmother, and then the right did a GoFundMe and raised like a couple $100,000 to give to her grandmother, and then they go to give it to her, and the grandmother was not in the shape at all what she says she was. That was a big. I laughed my butt off.
She's being investigated for her boyfriend right now, her husband, whatever he is. She's been investigated from a couple other things, and then we all know, like when she went to the border and she was standing crying and the thing, and then we found out it was just an empty parking lot.
Speaking of the border, Joe's supposed to be at the border Sunday.
Why? So he can babble? Blah, blah, blah,
I don't
blah,
know.
blah, blah, blah,
They,
blah, blah. And I have
I
saved
heard,
the
I
immigrants
saw
of the
that
world.
and I
Blah,
read
blah,
it.
blah.
I don't know. I didn't validate it because I've been so busy with work and my son's
He said
basketball.
he was going to go. He said he was going where?
The
He's going to
Sunday, the
Mexico
8th,
somewhere?
the 8th, he's supposed to be at the
Yeah, but I
border.
mean, isn't he going to Mexico first, and that's why he's going to the border? I thought he was going to meet with the Mexican
I
president.
don't know. I thought he assigned that to Kamala. Where is
Kamala won't go. She won't go.
Where is she? Nobody talks about her anymore.
Because who wants to talk about her? She's stupid. You know, when I first seen her, I was like, okay, maybe she's an intelligent black woman. Then I found out she's not even black. She's some other things, and she's not African. She's some other mixed breed shit.
Well, she put in Uncle Fester.
And then when I listen to her talk, she sounds like she's high or drunk or something. I'm like,
and then when I was dealing with Biden.
So, but when you go back and look at her career in Los Angeles, you got to stop and think. First off, why did she get to be president, VP? Oh, because she was black. So right now, and if I had the money, I'd do it myself. But there's several lawsuits now against the Democrats, but they don't want to talk about it. And you notice NBC, CBS are not talking about them. So a couple of groups got together and decided, well, Biden said he wanted the black VP, he wanted the female black VP. Okay, that's illegal in the United States. Then he said he wanted the black female justice of the Supreme Court. That's also illegal. And then he said, well, I need to hire a black lesbian for my speaker. Okay, you can't do that in the U.S. You cannot hire based on sex or color.
Well,
you just can't.
Well, is that why he's going transgender?
Huh? Well, he quit that. His two transgender, both of them got him in trouble. So he's got over that. I'm confused about the transgender thing anyway. I mean, what is it? 0.25% of the population. I mean, why are we so? And they're like, oh, we wouldn't read to our children. I'm gonna tell you this now, ladies and gentlemen. If I would have walked into one of my son's schools, especially when he was 7 or 8, and there was a transgender reading to him, it would not have been pretty. But I live in the deep South, so it wouldn't have happened anyway. But it wouldn't have been pretty. I have nothing against transgenders, but I personally know a lot of gays and a lot of transgenders are up in the head. They got lots of other problems, and they're nowhere near to straighten them out. You know, we want to act like they've been treated shitty for 100 years, and we want to think all of a sudden they're all cured and they're all better and they're perfect people. That's bullshit. I'm not saying that they're all bad, but there are a lot of them that are psychologically effed up. And I can't believe Democrats want to cut off what you call it, psychologists to them. I don't even understand that. So the thing of it is not everybody's perfect. I live in New Orleans, people, one of the biggest gay populations in the country. I've grown up with gays and blacks and everybody else. I mean, I live in the city of New Orleans. And, we don't think about it. Nobody does down here. It's not a thing to us. See, the Democrats make it a thing. For us, it's not a thing. We don't think. We go down Bourbon Street, la, 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 la. There's gay bars all up and down on one side of the bar. We don't even think about it. And if you're not homophobe, you can stop and get a drink. I walk in all the time and get a drink. Somebody might come up, hey, I'm not gay, thank you, guys. And they're like, okay, and they leave me alone. Well, I'm also big and ugly, too, so people tend to leave me alone anyway. But it's not, it's like 2 of my friends or 3 of my friends a couple of years ago. They come out of this bar, and they walked across this bar. They thought it was a strip joint. And I kept telling them, you don't want to go in there because it was a trans bar. So you don't want to go in there. And the 2 girls standing at the gate or the 2 guys standing at the gate, they were gorgeous, but they were trans, but they were gorgeous. And I kept saying, you don't want to go in there. So they went out and said, look, y'all going in, y'all see y'all in a few minutes. And 2 of them went up to the bar and got a drink. And then he sat down and he said, this guy kept hitting on me. And then all of a sudden I look up and there's this dude, he's just naked, things hanging out, and he's got tits. And she said, I don't even know what to think. I said, didn't I tell you not to go in there?
It was just wouldn't know what to think either. Being Kentucky. Jay, do you have that stuff too?
They don't do that up in Jay's country.
We don't have that so much here, no. But yeah,
it's stuff their asses in a coal mine or something up there. No, I mean you don't think about it down here. You really don't. I mean, when you grow up in the French Quarter, I mean they have Decadence Fest down here, which is the gays' day, and they get all naked and they paint themselves up and they walk around the French Quarter. So if you got kids, you don't go to the French Quarter that day. Or if you're offended by, body parts, you don't go to the French Quarter that day. The rule is they have to be painted, though, if they're going to be naked. And they just let them walk around and they don't care. But it's just a big gay group. If they come out, they have a good time. They don't harass anybody. They do their own thing. You can walk around, have fun, laughing at them, cutting up while they're cutting up. It's just part of the French Quarter. It's like they have 2 black festivals down here that are pretty much all black festivals. You're white, it doesn't matter. You can go down there. Nobody's going to give you trouble. You're going to have a lot of fun. They're great parties. It's a great thing. But we grew up in it. So it's a normal thing for us. Most of the country doesn't grow up this way. That's why we still have so many homophobes, so many racists, because they grew up like in all white communities. They've never even probably seen a gay person. I got a good friend of mine. I like to pick on her. She moved to Portland. She's a doctor, but she's African and she's black like Emily's hair. So I give her trouble. I said, you must stand out like a black Campbell, don't you? She said, Joe, stop it. She said, that's racist. I said, is there any other black people up there beside you? She's like, stop it. She said, yeah, there's like 5. And I was like, so, it's hard, but Seattle and Portland and we're pretty laid back liberal towns, but she said she still feels a discrimination. And because she's black, people look at her like, I said, well, come to the South. Nobody's even give a shit. I said, they're going to be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Nice to see you. And they're going to go on about their business. Because one thing you can say about Louisiana and even crazy Southern Mississippi, they're not prejudiced down here. They're not homophobes and they're prejudiced. Now, I'm going to warn people. Louisiana's okay. Southern Mississippi's great. Once you hit mid-Mississippi going up, even I won't go up there because not only do they don't like blacks or homophobes, they don't like people who don't belong there. So you're like, if you drive one of these small towns, the cops looking at you like, who are you? I get Mississippi tags and they're still going to pull me over because I'm not from their town. They want to know what I'm doing in their town. They just assume everybody's evil and drug dealer and whatever when they come up there. It's a weird place. And it's like going back in time 50 years. I'm not going to lie to people. I like people to know it's just how it is in that part of the country.
I'll tell you something really quick. This is many years ago. I don't know if this has changed by any means, and I'm not putting down White Castle. I don't know if they're even a franchise anymore, but a decade and a half ago, they were a franchise, and we saw a lot of it in Chillicothe. I
love their mini burgers.
North into Columbus, Cincinnati, Ohio, up in those regions. So we had a Wendy's that went out of business here, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "I'd love to get that because the restaurant wasn't that bad at all. It hadn't been there that long. It's on a corner lot. All this stuff." So they're like, I said, "I'm going to see if I can franchise a White Castle here in Ashland, Kentucky." So I call them. I send them pictures of the lot and everything. It's like, is this a good area? Is this a good location that you all think I could start getting this going? And we communicated back and forth via email for a while. And then finally, after about a week or so, I had a representative call me and they told me that it was a perfect location, but we didn't have enough African-American population in Ashland, Kentucky for a White Castle. So, it was kind of sad. It was heartbreaking. And I was like, well, maybe a White Castle. I didn't even think of race at that time, actually. I just thought it was good food.
Yeah.
It was good food.
And they were referring that to more because of labor than for food. It's I've seen other places do that. It's weird. The God Chicken, you got to watch them. They're not really racist, but they expect X amount of population to be working in their stores.
Well, I don't think that they're racist by any means, but I just, in Chillicothe is just about 45 minutes for me north. So what's 45 minutes come? We love White Castle, and anytime I see a White Castle, I'll go to it.
Yeah, they got a couple down here still, and I like their little mini burgers. I've always liked them since I was a kid.
I'm looking at their advertisement too on their website here because Jay sent it to us in private chat. But there's several pictures here. Most of them are African American individuals in there. So, I mean, if that's what works for them, that's works for them. I just want a White Castle in Ashland, and if we don't have enough African American,
give me one.
Come move to Ashland, Kentucky. I need you. We need a White Castle.
I need a White Castle. They've had a couple of them. They go and come down here. See, when we used to eat White Castle, they were still diners. They still had, you'd sit up at the bar and they had all the grills. Like, it's kind of like a Waffle House or something like that.
That's how it was in Columbus or in Chillicothe too, both places.
Yeah, and then they went to the restaurants, which are not as good. And I noticed the burgers aren't quite as good now, but still, I like the little suckers. I can eat like a dozen of them with no problem at all. And they're good. Yeah, White Castle. I'm going to send you a bill for all this advertisement tonight. and about $2,500 there. But they got pretty good food, and and it's weird though. So it's weird in the South. So if you live in like Mississippi or Alabama, you're going to see regular chain food. You're not going to see that in Metairie and New Orleans. You'll see like a Popeyes because that's where it originated from, but you're not going to see like there'll be a McDonald's and a Wendy's, but they're not going to be busy because everybody down here eats real hamburgers or po' boys or something like that. There's lots of places that serve all these po' boys and these lunches and stuff like that, which are just much, much better. So we eat, or you can go get some gumbo or something. So it's just different. The only time you're going to see anybody at McDonald's or Wendy's is if they're just in a hurry or if the restaurants where they regularly eat are full. I mean, like chicken restaurants down here. Yeah, this Popeyes.
I was gonna say, do you have KFC?
No, KFC went out of business down here. They got like Popeyes, but then they got Gus's Chicken, and they got all these chicken joints that are really good and that really make really good chicken. You don't want to go eat any of that crappy chicken after that. I mean, we do have God's Chicken down here. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's got God's Chicken. What do you mean you don't know who God's Chicken?
What do you mean God's Chicken?
Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay. Chick-fil-A. We got Chick-fil-A.
Everybody's got God's Chicken. Yeah, everybody got God's Chicken. That's God's Chicken.
They close on Sundays.
Yes, and they're God's Chicken. They're
I'm
like
your Chick-fil-A. That's a Kanye West song.
Yeah, and then there's what's the other? What's the department store? What is that? That's another God's place. So God only eats Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
and then he shops at I can't think of the name there.
What is it? Not Home Goods. It's Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby. So God eats at Chick-fil-A and shops at Hobby Lobby. Mm-hmm. What can I tell you? And both these companies are excellent to their employees and donate tons and tons of money to all kind of charities. That's because they got tons and tons. I have never seen a Chick-fil-A without a line, usually wrapped around the building twice. It's insane.
Oh, it's insane. Here we got one in Ashland. Then it's like they make that way. There's like two in Huntington, West Virginia. There's one in Ashland. I don't think there's one over in Ironton, Ohio, and I think there's another one up in Portsmouth, Ohio. Like the one in Ashland is crazy. It's always, and it causes traffic jams.
Oh, it does. And they got one in all the major cities around. They're all just so freaking busy. It's ridiculous. And I hate to say this, I'm not a big fan of their chicken.
I like it. I like their chicken nuggets.
I would
way
rather
better.
go to. Well, like I said, there's lots of chicken restaurants down here that are actually real chicken restaurants where they actually fry the chicken. They bring you out a chicken dinner and stuff. That's a place called Pardo's. It's they make the best roast beef I've ever eaten in my entire life, and they make some of the best chicken I've ever eaten. But there are a couple of other chicken, and then what's nice is there's lots of choices of crust styles down here: thin, thick, medium. Hardly none at all. It's almost naked chicken. It's great. I mean, it's such a difference because when I'm traveling, I don't get to see that. There's not those kind of restaurants all over the place.
Because you're making me hungry right now. I have slim.
The only chicken chain we really have is Popeyes. Even Church's is gone. It's just Popeyes, and nobody down here that's from New Orleans or the general area is really going to eat anything unless they're going to either go to a restaurant or they're going to go to Popeyes. And that's just where I'm going to go.
Jay, how about you?
I was just looking at some of my favorites, Little Tavern and Crystal Burger, which is similar to
Crystal Burger.
They're good too.
Yeah.
I see both of those when I was a kid. I started eating. They were both diners when I started eating at them. My dad used to drag me into them. I was like, well, I don't want to go in here. And then I'd sit down and eat them burgers, and I don't want to leave. I'm like, yeah, give me them damn things. It's they're good.
We used to play Name That Crystal in college. You ever played Name That Crystal?
Sounds like spin the bottle.
So I can eat that crystal in 5 bites, 4 bites, 3 bites, 2, 1, go.
I can eat like 5 of them bitches in 2 bites, man. I love them things. It's good. Bruce, we're just talking about. I don't know. I've never heard about them being in New York. I guess you'd have to go look and see. I don't see why they wouldn't be. I mean, they're all over the South and they were out West. So I don't know why they wouldn't be up there. Now, one of the places we like to eat hamburgers down here is Frost Top, which comes out of the 50s.
We have a Frost Top.
Yes. And Frost Top is a little expensive, but they have really good burgers. Mm-hmm. And we had this chain that called Hoppers that Burger King bought out. They were like, what does my son want?
Does your Frost Top have a root beer like type thing that spins around in a circle?
There are actually 2 of them do and 1 of them don't because the hurricane blew one of us, and now it's sitting on the ground like a mug.
That's what we have. We have a Frost Top up here. I cannot believe that. That's awesome.
Okay, let me send my child some money.
I'm about ready to go get my chicken out of my kitchen.
I know, huh? It's making me hungry.
I'm starving. Too. I haven't eaten since like 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock today. Almost 12 hours ago.
Okay, there we go. Send that to him. I keep forgetting to send him money. Oh, I love cash.
Do you need my account?
I love cash. I know, huh? That's time. Send me some money. Actually, no, Biden just doesn't have command of the English language anymore. The man used to be able to speak. I've heard him speak.
He has Alzheimer's, and he lied too. Though when he lied about his college education, he copied JFK.
All Democrats lie. I mean, look at Elizabeth Warren. Why ain't she in trouble for being Pocahontas? She lied her whole time. She lied to her college. That's how she got in college. Oh well, I'm Native American. You look, people, don't take this the wrong way, but there's nothing about Elizabeth Warren that looks Native American. That bitch does not look Native American. She looked like maybe Scandinavian or something like that. She does not look Native American. I don't even know where y'all got that from.
We got that new rep in Santos too that lied about everything.
Oh, that's idiot. Now he's a Republican idiot.
Yeah, they all do it. It's on both sides.
I don't know if he's going to make it or not. Congress might kick him out.
Well, it's narcissism. It's an inflated ego, grandiosity that they lie. Even the guy I dated for several years lied about everything he did. I went to therapy over this.
They've got a couple of Democrats retiring now. 2 of them are quitting and one's retiring. All of a sudden, out of the blue, the Democrats are flipping out. So this is weird. So in the House, you have to have a new election, but in the Senate, your wife can take over unless you're quitting. And you didn't have to be a new election. So if like Jay was married to somebody, he was a senator and he got killed, his wife could take his seat. Really? That's why everybody when what's his name won in Pennsylvania, that's why everybody got nervous because his wife's kind of gothy chick and he had just had a stroke. And so everybody said, Fetterman, if he dies, she can take over.
Well, he was just sworn in and I call him Uncle Fester.
Yeah, I call him Lurch.
But have you ever listened to him talk? He sounds exactly like Obama. Exactly. His voice and everything.
But
Pennsylvania is a Soros-funded state. You got Josh Shapiro, and there we got what's his face that's going through the impeachment trial. A DA. I can't think of his name right now. They're all funded by George Soros, and it's admittedly so. Like they're not even hiding this stuff anymore.
Well, they might as well get over Soros because he's almost gone.
Pennsylvania, the brotherly state, is the number. I think Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona are the top 3 most corrupt states in our nation. California, I'm not even putting that in there. California is just a mess. Period. People know right in California, and they're moving out of California. So I don't even consider that corrupt. I just Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Arizona, the most corrupt states we have.
Well, we got all this extra. Let's throw this over here. Let's listen to this right quick, if it'll let me. I don't know why it's got. Oh, I hit the wrong button. That's what I would say.
Consequential, not a joke. If I can halt for a second and just say to you, the impact what happened on July the 6th had international repercussions beyond what I think any of you can fully understand.
Did he say July the 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said July the 6th.
Yeah.
Yes. The true insurrection happened when this asshole pulled our troops out of Afghanistan and allowed Taliban to take over.
Well, that's another article about the Social Security.
That's a true insurrection when this dipshit. I'm sorry for cussing because what happened? People don't understand what happened with Vietnam. They got to understand what happened with Vietnam. Biden was the only senator or representative at the time that made Ford do what he did in Vietnam. And what we saw was history repeating itself from Vietnam to Afghanistan. And my dad is a Screaming Eagle, 101st in Vietnam, and he had never had that so much PTSD until that happened in Afghanistan. Like he had PTSD, but it was we had to take guns out of the house. It was bad time for us. And Biden is an asshole. He's a liar. He's a crook. He stole the election. They stole the election. I don't even know how he's still going forward. I thought they would do what was Amendment 25 already on him. Like, how is this still being? I don't even get it. Like July 6th, July 6th.
Yeah, I know. Well, because he's
we are a laughing stock of the world.
We are a laughing stock of the world. But yet, this tells you how weird this is. So it's like three different things going on, like three different people involved. So today he's saying this shit, and he's making laughing stock at it, but yet we're up there sailing cruisers through the Strait of Taiwan, like we're trying to start a war. I mean, we're just like,
no.
China.
Wait till you find out. After I know what the biolabs are in Taiwan, and everybody go look that up. I ain't saying nothing about it. You all need to research this before they start taking this stuff down. Wait, you will want the United States to attack first with Taiwan, because if China gets in there and gets Taiwan, believe me, the DOD is way more deeper in Taiwan than it ever was in Ukraine.
Well, they've been shutting a lot of stuff down in Taiwan. We've changed the tactics with way.
And here's something: the East does not want the West mind frame. They don't want this transgender stuff. They don't want the stuff happening in the education system.
Don't. You get shot in China for being gay or transgender.
And then if we want to talk about war crimes, we need to talk about Bush's. We need to talk about Clinton's. We need to talk about Obama. Obama, how many strikes a day while he was the president? Was it 2 or 3 strikes a day on a country?
He killed a lot of people. It was a lot of strikes, and he killed a lot of people.
And then they want to say Putin is a war criminal. And I looked up Putin's war criminal stuff, 500,000 before the Ukraine thing under his belt, and he's been in there since 1999. 500,000. We got 23 million or 26 million under our presidents. But yeah, everything is a projection. Everything, whatever they accuse the United States of doing or Russia doing, is exactly what we're doing within our own country.
It's what the hell is this? Oh wait, somebody just sent me that. Well, that's cool. I don't know. Somebody just sent me the drone. It's one of the nice things about being on the internet. People send you stuff right off the bat. You know, it's nice. But people, you got to remember, we have to be able to verify them. It's not just, you can't just go around saying stuff without verifying.
And it has to be PG.
Yes. Well, it can be
sorry,
R. No. On this show, it can be R on this show.
I don't drop the F-bomb. I'll tell you that.
So any show, we're after.
Shit.
Well, we're after 10 o'clock. Anything after 10 o'clock is R rated. We do that on purpose because I
you all
curse
saw me
sometimes.
as hot as I can get, Jay. I'm sorry.
Well, when I get on the news sometimes, I'll get a little rambunctious, I guess we'll say. Let's see how many people he killed. He killed 542 civilians and 3,797 people with 542 drone strikes. That's at least almost one a day for those 2 years. That was 2015 to 2020.
Who are we talking about?
Obama.
Hold on.
Yeah, so Congress was not notified. How's that? That's just kind of funny.
He did whatever
I actually thought the number was higher than this. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought the number was higher than this. Let's see whose sources that is. Well, that ain't a source we're going to use anymore. U.S. has dropped 326,000 bombs on people in other countries since 2001. Damn. I shouldn't laugh about that. Shame is going on us people.
On the private chat, I threw up this has nothing to do with people dying by drone attack, but I put up the location of the little tavern burger joint that my buddies and I would stop at on our way leaving Georgetown at night after getting drunk in D.C.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. You know, that's another thing that people down here learn.
This is Washington Times. This is even a liberal page. Hold on. Washington. Obama-led drone strikes kills innocents 90% of the time.
They do.
Any drone he launched, he killed the innocent.
He killed
people.
A lot of innocents.
And here's something, people. Yeah, well, then people want to forget about Biden droning Afghanistan and killing 10 civilians and 7 children or 8 children in Afghanistan.
Well, then, you know, we can go back to when they sent in the Delta 6 team to remove bin Laden, and then we threw his body over the side of a ship. I was like, really? We didn't take any DNA or anything. We just tossed him over the side of a ship. So, yeah, you killed him, Obama.
But kind of weird. They just dumped him on the side of a boat in the ocean.
Well, it makes a lot of sense if you're CIA, because that's how the CIA rolls, and we know that Osama bin Laden was CIA.
I know, but well, we know we're the ones that put him in power. We're the ones that gave him his money. We're the ones that allowed him to buy Russian.
Azov platoon or battalion over there in who trained those people? It's the CIA and our military.
He also got his education here in America on architecture. This is why he was able to know where to put places to put bombs to make buildings come down.
Where did Obama come from? Obama's not a legitimate president, and they actually released and showed proof.
He's not a U.S. citizen.
No.
You don't have to be a U.S. citizen as long as one parent was born in the USA, and we know his mom was. That's the problem. People kept getting confused. As long as one of your parents is born here, you're a U.S. citizen, and you can run for president of the United States. People kept getting confused. It didn't matter if he was born in the U.S. or not. Matter of fact, his Social Security numbers didn't match either.
You have to have been born in the U.S. They couldn't.
No, all you have to be is one parent has to be born in the U.S. That's it. You don't have to be. Your parent has to be. You're considered a full-fledged American citizen. I thought that too. I really did. I really thought that.
I thought she was born though in somewhere else. I thought she was born
here. Actually, she raised him in Hawaii, but she was born here. I think it was somewhere up north in Connecticut or some back ass words state like that. I'm sorry, I was just teasing people, yelling backward ass words up there. But
regardless, who was her father? Who was her father?
I don't know. There was lots of rumors about that. It switched every time you go look on for an article online. It would switch, and so it would change in this one, that one, or the other one. But it still doesn't matter because she has a birth certificate in a hospital in the United States.
It doesn't matter about her. It doesn't.
It does. All it matters is she was born in the United States. That's all that matters.
Stanley Armour Dunham was her father. He is the cousin of George H.W. Bush. He's a distant cousin of Dick Cheney. He was the maternal grandfather of Obama. Him and his wife raised Barack Obama, Barry Soetoro, when he turned 10, and they raised him in Hawaii. That's who her father was. And she was not born in this country. She was born into another country. She attended school in this country.
She has a birth certificate in the United States, and it is a valid birth certificate.
I'd have to see it because I don't trust Obama's
birth certificate. It was up. But Obama's birth certificate was not a legitimate birth certificate, but hers is.
Stanley was born in America.
And this goes to what I was talking about earlier. It's a waste of time. It's over and done with. It's time to move on to something else. You can't ever change that.
We can't when we got Obama in the basement.
You can't. And
we can't go on from this because you know what I think they're going to set up?
Yes, you can because he could have still been a senator.
Going to run for president. I think Michelle Obama's
going to run. Let her run. She said she never wants to be in politics. And let me tell you what, when we did the voice dress on her, she wasn't lying. I think she learned a valuable lesson by her husband, who was hated, not just here, but around the world. I don't think she wants to take the chance. If she did, she had perfect opportunities to run.
Barack was loved
she's not very well liked either. Like
she's not.
She ever said,
as first ladies go, she's not liked.
Yeah, she's not, because like one of the very first things she ever said once he was president was that she goes, "America, your children are fat." Like right like that, and she just
she was kind of anti-American, and people aren't going to forget that.
Yeah,
she'll pull the liberals. She'll pull the liberals, but she won't pull the independents and the right. So she can't be president. And it would take a lot more than that. And the Democrats have never tried to push her in that direction for some reason. They think that Kamala Harris can be president.
No,
every time I hear that, I want to follow.
They would have already done the 25th. They would have already done. She's so hated. They're ready.
So what they're hoping for Biden will either die or become so incoherent that he has to step down, and then she can run the country the last year.
I don't know who their Democrat person. I almost think that they'll disguise it under a Republican, but I think if. I'm not a huge fan of him either in Florida. What's his face?
DeSantis? He's going to be your next president. Unless he doesn't run.
If he runs, I'm telling you this. If he runs this time, it's only to divide and conquer MAGA. And the Democrats are going to win. And he needs to concentrate on Florida red. He needs to
Trump said that if he doesn't win the party line, he would not run and divide the party. He said he would not.
Trump?
Yeah, he said that if he can't win the primary, then he's not going to run for president.
I need to see that on True Social because I never seen that on True Social.
He was on Sean Hannity when he was talking about his best
and
buddy.
Sean Hannity's a goat.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Not a goat. But
he loves Sean Hannity. He thinks Sean Hannity is his favorite character. So I don't watch him. So I actually
Donald tweeted, or Donald put on Truth a few minutes ago. Big night for America.
Because Trump Trump can't afford another Democratic president. He'll end up in jail. He has to have a Republican president. If he can't do it, he has to have somebody that can. Because if Biden or another Democrat wins in 2024, Trump's going to jail. There ain't no ifs, ands about it. They're trying like hell, and they still don't have him, but they will get something sooner or later that they can put him in jail with. That's
why the people of the United States here, all of us voters need to get off our ass and physically do something. I'm sick of these games.
But if Trump doesn't endorse DeSantis, it could still be just as bad.
DeSantis is lucky his state is all red now. He needs to concentrate on keeping it red for the next 4 years.
Well, no, he made it red. It was blue. Dade County was blue and has been blue for 30 years. He flipped it. He got
lucky.
No, he flipped it because he's damn good at what he does. The state's economy.
That's why he needs to keep it. He's not really truly that popular with the big, huge billions of numbers here outside of Florida. He's really not.
86% United States liked him, including Democrats like him.
Well, I want to see that poll and how many
he would win. He would win in a landslide if he was running right now. He'd win in a landslide.
I don't think so.
So when you can flip, remember who lives in Dade County. Okay, wait. Let's think about who lives in Dade County. All the New Yorkers, the New Jersey people, Maine, Connecticut, Rhode Island. That's where they winter at. That's their homes down there, and
that's their physical residence. Because if that is, then they better be paying taxes on that.
They are, and they have homes down there, and that's where they winter, and they will vote for him. They like.
I'm looking at the map right now, the governor results, and Miami-Dade County is blue. Orlando, I don't know the county, is blue. There's a county outside of Jacksonville that's blue, and then 2 Tallahassee counties are blue.
He barely won. He needs to keep.
No, he didn't barely win.
No, he didn't barely win.
He beat the guy by his ass, man. It was a landslide victory. Oh no, I watched that election. He whooped ass. He was never in any jeopardy. That guy against him never had a prayer.
Well, hold on, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the counties. I'm not talking about the guy. Like he obviously he lost. He barely. If we take just those counties that are blue, and we take the numbers.
Hold on, let me wait, I don't see it yet. Wait, I don't see you. What the hell? Oh, sorry. Never mind. Oh, that ain't it. That's something else. Where's it at? Hold on. Wait, no, that's Emily.
I gotta select.
Why won't this go away?
My computer's really slow.
No, take your time. I'm just trying to figure out why this screen up here won't go away. It's he is well liked around the country. He's even liked in California. They love the guy for some reason. I personally, Emily, when I look at him, I like him, but I don't think he's this savior of the country.
Look who sits behind him, Jeb Bush, okay? And then you got to look at who funds him. The same people that funds Ron DeSantis, you always got to follow the money, are the same people that funded Obama. Well, Jeb, and what school did he go to? He went to Yale. Who else went to Yale? The Bushes.
So he's probably Skull and Bones, but so Jeb, Jeb should have been the last president.
No,
but he cowered out. Well, he cowered out, but he could have won it, but he cowered. He gave up when he only was at 15%.
Here you go, Joe. You can.
Damn, there isn't hardly no blue. I mean, he just slaughtered these people. Right.
Tallahassee, Orlando, Miami.
It's Miami. It's Tampa, Tallahassee, and one county.
The fact that Boca Raton is not blue.
The major cities in Florida that has a lot of immigration, especially Miami. Orlando has a lot too. I don't know so much about Tallahassee.
Yeah.
He needs to concentrate flipping these cities to be red. And if he can keep...
They're
not.
They're flipped. They're not. There's not enough of them in there voting against you.
I've traveled quite a bit to Miami. I have friends in Miami.
I got friends in Miami too. We got property in Miami.
Nobody likes DeSantis in Miami that I talk to.
I know a lot of people in Miami. They love him. I got
a
lot of Democrat friends there that love him.
Miami. These are the real. There's some
I got
there.
a lot of multi-million-dollar customers down there who love him to death, and they're not Republicans. They're Democrats. Matter of fact, if you go down to Key West, Florida, we got several more millionaires down there that are friends of ours.
I'm telling you, until he can win Miami over and Orlando over, I'm not so much concerned with Tallahassee.
He won Dade County, which is actually bigger than Miami. So you have to remember how this works in Florida. Miami's big, but it's not as big as Dade County. It's not as big as the county that it's in. And he flipped the county that Miami's in.
Dade County.
That's what I'm saying. He flipped the county.
Miami is Dade County.
No. Dade County stretches halfway across the damn state. It's we know that from Hurricane, I forgot which one it was, that wiped it out of existence. It's a big, huge ass county, and it's not just Miami.
Well, I worked for Dade County Parks and did a lot of events down there. Miami's Dade County.
Miami is this big. Dade County is this big. Miami's not that big of a city. People realize that. If you spend a lot of time in Miami, you'll realize it's a small city. It's not a large city. Miami's like New Orleans. It's a small city. It's not a big city. It's not like.
When I say Dade County, I'm including Coral Gables. I'm including Hyena.
He flipped Boca Raton. Where every major every major rich person from up north spends their winters, he flipped it. And they're all Democrats, and he flipped it. You can't get around it. He brought in a lot of big Democrats who brought him money. They like the guy. They think he can go both ways. We're talking about
a totally different county. That's Palm Beach County.
Oh, I know. And that's a whole different county. But that's another liberal county. It was a big liberal county. That is where everybody spends this. Oh, that's where they spend their. Everybody from places like New Hampshire, New Jersey, and New York spend their summers down. I mean, their winters down there. Not just that. People from Rhode Island. It's just where they spend their summers at. I mean, their winters at. Because it's nice down there. It's warm. It's usually about 74 degrees.
When he can flip Miami, I will believe that he can flip.
I guarantee you, if he ran for president right now, he would even flip New York. Of course, New York's real close to flipping anyway, but he'll flip New York if he wins, if he runs. Trump won't, but he will. Trump did manage to get close. He got 45% of the vote in New York, and this guy who ran against the governor got 47%. And New York's House has flipped red. It's not blue anymore. So New York is flippable. It's a flippable state. Florida was running purple for about 2 decades now. So just seeing it all red again is nice to see because it was kind of purple there for a while. It was voting both ways. And it changed that. See, like Georgia was purple, but for some reason they flipped 7 of the 8 seats this time. So it's back to being red, all except for the one Herschel lost. So it's a fundamental change now, especially across the Deep South. They're wanting a guy who can stand up, not take the bullion, and stand up to the press and tell them to go F off and still be respected for it. So Trump can't do it because the media just stays on him nonstop. Getting on DeSantis is a whole different ball game. He's not going to put up with NBC. Matter of fact, last time somebody at NBC, what is that guy, Joe Morning, was telling, he got on television. So I'm going to tell you this one time. If I ever hear my name come out of your mouth, I will own everything that you own. Do you understand that? And he served him with a lawsuit that day. So he's not like Trump. Trump's got a lot of mouth. DeSantis does. That's a big difference between the two of them. One's a doer, one's a talker. And he's a doer, and people like doers. And even what's his name from California, Newsom came out and said he is a really good governor. This is a California governor saying that a Florida governor is good. That's crazy.
Anybody listening to me on this, that's all I'm going to say. Until
you're making me hungry.
DeSantis, I know I want my chicken in my kitchen right now. If this only way DeSantis will win for me, confirmation is Miami will turn red. Until then, if DeSantis runs, he's splitting MAGA, and the Democrat Party will win. He does not have enough support. He's not going to split MAGA because Trump's not going to run. If he Trump already announced it. He already turned in his paperwork. No, but you have to win the nomination. And Trump said if he doesn't win the nomination, he's not going to run. He's going to win it. He's not going to win it. Right now, DeSantis is winning it. He never announced he was running. And that's the bad part. He's still winning it. So 4 months ago, Trump was winning any primary that he ran into. But since this election in Florida, now DeSantis. Well, when's the deadline for DeSantis to turn in his paperwork? And it's even more than that. No, he got a whole nother year. It's even more than that.
Jeb Bush and all the other people who are going to run will back DeSantis.
That's right. That's the most evil.
That's right. They'll back DeSantis where they won't back Trump.
That's what I'm saying. The same people, which is the Bush family that's related to Obama, the same groups are funding DeSantis that funded Obama, and everybody needs to wake the F up.
All kind of people are going to fund him.
No, it's the same people. Even in the preliminary stuff, it's the same people. DeSantis is
but DeSantis don't give a shit. That's what you don't understand. He don't care about Jeb Bush and George. He does. He's already talked about. Oh no, he's talked about both of them.
If he didn't care, then he wouldn't have had Jeb Bush and sitting in front.
He told Jeb. Yeah, he told Jeb on television twice. Look, dude, you need to get out of this. You don't belong in this.
Mirrors, man.
And
it's all
you need to stay away from this. I've never heard anybody tell the Bushes to go sit down and shut up, and he did. So even Trump didn't go tell him to sit down and shut up, but DeSantis did. He's like, go sit down.
And Jeb still shut up.
You want to know why? Because DeSantis
all part of the same group.
DeSantis has a different group backing him up.
No,
he has people. Yeah, he does. Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. He's got the two richest men in the world backing him. He doesn't need anybody else's money.
Do you know who backs them? Do you know who funds them?
Nobody funds them. Do you know who funds them? Amazon funds them. That's who funds Jeff Bezos.
Okay, who's the groups that
There's no groups. Jeff Bezos and his wife owns Amazon outright. They own it. There's nobody else owning it but them. And then when it comes to SpaceX,
it's all these same
groups. When it comes to SpaceX,
Elon
owns SpaceX outright. Tesla, he owns the majority of the stock.
He never owns it. He never even founded Tesla. He rode on coattails of two inventors.
It doesn't matter. He owns it.
Lots
of people don't found companies that own it.
BlackRock
he owns the majority of stocks. No. You can't lose $200 billion if you don't own. Okay, remember, he just set a record for losing what? The most money of anybody in the world, $200 billion on what? Tesla. He owns Tesla. He is the guy who owns Tesla. He owns SpaceX, Tesla, and Twitter. He's not stupid. He's not going to take any bullshit.
Here's who owns Tesla. Read it right now. The Vanguard Group, BlackRock Fund Advisors, and Gianad Capital LLC. No, they own it. It's shareholders.
Elon don't give a shit because Tesla's nothing without Elon.
Well,
that's bottom line.
I don't know. Elon's nothing without Tesla.
You just watch it as he went to Twitter. You just watched Tesla collapse as he took a hiatus. He only took a vacation from Twitter.
But you don't understand. The same groups, Vanguard, BlackRock, and that Capital Management Group own Twitter. They're balancing out. They're all playing a game.
The only person who owns Twitter is he owns it outright. $44 billion cash. He bought it. Nobody owns Twitter but him. He bought like 2 stocks
over the shareholders.
No, he bought everything. He don't own the shareholders. He bought it out.
This is on my website, everybody. Go to EmilyMenshouse.org.
Yeah, she's giving you bogus information because he bought it outright. He don't. Twitter's not worth more than $44 billion.
He owns more shareholders than Vanguard Group, BlackRock, and the Capital Management LLC. He owns more shares, so yes, that gives him a leadway in that shareholding to say what he wants to do. But those are the same groups.
I got a question for you. What is Twitter worth? When he bought
I don't know what Twitter worth is right now.
When he bought Twitter, it was worth $44 billion. Currently, it's only worth $19 billion. He owns it outright. There is nobody else in there but him. You can't go in and fire the whole board of directors.
The whole boards?
Yeah, he fired the whole board. He fired the whole effing board. He fired all of them. Twitter is his baby, and nobody else is going to tell him what to do with it but him. He's a CEO because he fired the entire board of directors. He fired anybody at Twitter.
You can fire the board of directors.
No, not if they own the majority of stock. They can't.
That's what I'm saying.
They work for the people. He fired them outright. He owns the place outright.
Never mind. I'm keeping my mouth shut. Everybody just
show my screen. It shows how many shares he owns.
Go to my website and look it up.
Did it go back?
Go to my Facebook page and look up Twitter files on there, and go to my Facebook page and look up Vanguard Group.
Yeah.
If you show my screen, Joe, it shows the shareholders what they own.
I wish I had $44 billion to go buy something, man. I would love that shit.
Yeah, it's a little small, but Elon's got 420 some million shares.
Yeah, there's nobody even close to him.
Yeah, 423 million shares for Elon. Vanguard Group 213. That's half of what Elon owns. So he owns more than 50% of that company.
Hold on, I need to upload.
He is
when he first got it. Look up when he first got it. He only got it by barely.
But it doesn't matter. He's the owner of it.
He first got it. He's got it now.
Remember, he was going to pull out. He wasn't going to buy it, and then they worked out more of a deal.
Well,
and then
Twitter
he ended up getting it. But it's the same groups. Here's what people are not getting. Vanguard Group, BlackRock, and that Global Advisors, these are the same freaking people that own Tesla. They're all working against us, everybody.
Well, they don't. This is a game. It shows right there that Elon Musk has more
Elon might have more to say, but they all got to vote. They
don't get a vote. It don't matter what they say. He has a controlling interest. They can vote all they want. He can just say, sorry, it's mine.
It's the same groups, everybody. And he's working underneath there. Everybody's getting money from this.
I can tell you right now, Elon Musk ain't working under anybody but himself. He is an arrogant, egotistical bastard, and he's not going to let anybody tell him what to do. You can tell just by SpaceX, Twitter. I mean, everybody told him, don't buy Twitter. What is wrong with you? You are crazy to go buy Twitter. And he did it anyway.
He did it back and forth, though.
He almost bankrupted SpaceX trying to prove his point, but he did.
Well, he never put Tesla together. He rode on the coattails with that. He never owned PayPal. He sold his company out way before it was even called PayPal. This guy rides on the coattails, and he just moved up because of his name and who his mother is. And then I honestly believe
how he got an idiot. He wouldn't. His mother's not going to help. His dad might help him out, but his mom surely isn't. I mean, he asked to move out of her house when he was a kid because she was a Fruit Loop.
Who did he move to America with? His mother. So he stayed with his mother.
He was living with his father till he moved to America, and he asked to leave his mother.
He got beat up, and I honestly think that Elon Musk killed a kid, and that's why they moved from South Africa.
No, he got beat up a lot. That's one thing for sure. He got beat up a lot.
But Elon is not a good guy in this. And I'm telling you, the same groups. He runs around in these same groups like everybody else, and all this is a game, and we're all being played.
Well,
every one of us.
You're being played, all right, if you don't think Elon Musk is not out on his own, because he is. He's not running with any groups. He's running on his own. Elon has something to prove.
He supports it.
He supports himself. He owns SpaceX outright. He owns Twitter outright. He owns
SpaceX is not going to get anywhere.
What do you mean? It's already getting it. It's the number one launching vehicles in the world. He launched more space shots last year than all the countries combined.
Where did they go? Where did it go? Where's the evidence? What happened?
You can see it yourself. You can go watch them being launched. You can watch them on TV.
Did they launch to the sky and hit the firmament? Is that what they do? Do
you know how many satellites he's got in space? Do you know how many satellites?
I don't even believe in these satellites all that much.
Have you ever heard of the TV network he owns? You know, the internet system he owns, so that if you live in a rural area, you can get internet now.
What he made it? He made it everywhere.
He made it so anybody living in a rural area, it's $500 for the equipment and then $120 a month.
Starlink, is that what you're talking about? Starlink.
Yeah, you can get it anywhere. I got 4 friends that own it. They love it.
Well, hopefully he can come over to Ashland, Kentucky, because I still have a hard time with my internet connection.
He loves it. I mean, a good friend. A couple of my friends like it. You know why they like it so much? When they're out in their cars driving around, they can hook it up anywhere. Once you got it, you got it. I mean, he's launched an enormous amount of satellites of his own. Yeah, he's launched satellites for the government. He's launched satellites for He's brought astronauts to the space station. The man is brilliant.
I don't believe it. I don't believe in NASA. I'm sorry.
You know, you can look through a telescope and look at it, right? I mean, you don't have to believe this. Some things you don't have to believe. You know, some things you can prove to yourself. You can see it in space. You can see it moving around. You can watch. Matter of fact, you can watch the Chinese.
You can take a telescope and look at that, but we can't take a telescope and look at some other things that's here closer. This is millions and millions and millions of miles away. The moon.
Okay, just here. So you're arguing about this. Twitter is privately owned by Elon Musk.
Really? So when did that happen?
October 22nd. When it was it?
He didn't buy it then.
When was it? $44 billion when
Twitter is privately owned?
It's privately owned by Elon Musk. And before that, it was privately owned by Jack Dorsey. And he sold some of it out, but he still owned the majority of it without anything. It was him, Isaac Stone, Noah Eastglass, Jeremy Latrace, and Evan Williams. They were the founders of Twitter. Even then, Twitter wasn't owned by shareholders. It's not. Twitter's never been that kind of company. Just like Facebook isn't that kind of company. These companies are owned because they don't want people messing around with what they're doing. Whatever it is they're doing, people, I don't know. I don't even want to speculate on what they're doing. But they're out there doing this, and they're doing it because they control it. And you can't.
You know why? Because they merged. They merged together and then privatized. So we have these corporations behind, merged together, teamed up with Elon Musk, and then they privatized. This is a screw up, and I'm telling you, we're being screwed over by Elon Musk. Mark my words. You might not agree with me right now. Maybe a year, 2 years, maybe even 5 years down the road. Mark my words. That's why it's private. They merged.
Well, you can always see a bunch of stuff in these companies, and they're always going to be selling out stocks in these companies because they need the money to go play with stuff.
Making more excuses.
That's like Twitter. Tesla. He sold a bunch of that stock so he could have the money to buy what? Twitter. He's it's insane that you can go just that was his Christmas present. Actually, Tesla had just given him, I think it was a $40 billion bonus for all the stuff for the 2 years before. So he actually used that money.
Get bonuses.
Well, when you do the job and you get what they want, they do it. I mean, Tesla's a huge company. It's in the forerunner of electric cars, and it's a forerunner of building electric vans and self-driving vehicles, even though he has some that goes apeshit.
I hope who created Tesla gets some of that.
Well, if they were smart enough and they stayed around and they kept the stock they owned and they did it or they sold it Tesla stock is pretty valuable even now with it being devalued. It's still pretty valuable to have. Actually, I'm pretty sure you're going to see Elon selling little chunks of Twitter here and there, because I don't think he wants as much control as he got, to be honest with you. He seems like, maybe I effed up here. Every now and then I get this feel.
He's right on coattails.
It doesn't matter if you ride coattails. Every major company in the world rides coattails.
He's not a company. He's a person. He's a private investor.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. People, that's how they become people. They buy out other companies. Okay, here's one for y'all. Talk about riding coattails. McDonald's rode coattails. The guy who invented McDonald's lived in California, and he was building these restaurants when the two brothers who owned McDonald's originally came in and bought him out. Because it was such a great idea, and that's how McDonald's got founded. So you talk about riding on coattails. How much is McDonald's worth these days? I mean, of course, they're all got different franchises here, and this one owns just 5 stores, and this one owns just 50 stores. But yeah, and how many have they served? Trillions of people now. So there's nothing wrong with riding on coattails. You just got to be smart enough to jump on the right coattail at the right time, or live the rest of your life poor. I mean, which would you rather? You could be dirt poor or you could be multi-billionaire.
I mean, I think most of us think that we'd like to have money, but do we really want it? Because
I've had both. I came from a family.
I've had both. I've brought home like $12,000 a month in salary before taxes, and a job. I was the vice president of operations for Crude Oil and Hauling Company. I worked my butt off, and then I've had nothing. I've lost jobs, 3 jobs. I've been laid off and stuff, but. Regardless, we're talking about multi-billionaires, and this is a whole other higher class than that is screwing us all over. The only people succeeded through the pandemic was millionaires became billionaires, and all of these people that have these high-end companies and all this stuff is screwing us over left and right and laughing in our faces.
What was that, Jimmy? What did you send me? Okay. Oh, here's another one he just sent me. This is from the Sun Herald. Let's see. Twitter is a privately owned company owned by Elon Musk, who bought out all the shareholders for a whopping $44 billion.
They merged together.
No, he bought them out. And the reason he bought them out was so he could do the Twitter files. That was the whole point. He wanted to be able to show that the liberals
deal to acquire Twitter and take it private.
He was wanting to show it.
Taking it private is
it was private before he bought it. It was already a private company. It wasn't a shareholder company. So let me explain. People get confused with this. Because there's multiple owners does not mean it's a shareholder company. It means it's a private company. Shareholders means it has to be in a stock market being traded as stock. Twitter was not. Twitter was owned by 5 or 6 people, and that was it. They owned the company outright. And then Elon Musk bought them out is what he did. That's how this all works.
Time out. I invested in Twitter. It was a public company, and the investors sold stocks.
Every article I said shows it was a private company owned by 6 people. That was it. It doesn't show any stock shares anywhere. It's not even talking about it. It shows stocks for some other stuff that were Twitter associates, but not Twitter itself. It became
private under Elon Musk. It was on the Securities and Exchange Commission board. I bought into Twitter. He would have had to buy out. I bought into Facebook. Just like I bought into.
If that was true, he would have had to buy out all the shareholders.
He did. That's what I'm saying. He barely bought over the shareholders. Was his Vanguard group and all these other ones that still owns Tesla. It's the same people.
There's no groups but him that owns his company.
Oh, Lord have
Nobody
mercy. I'm going to
owns
have
Twitter
to go.
but him.
Everybody go to EmilyMenshouse.org. I have it all there. I don't know everything, but I will tell you this. I have a bachelor's in accounting and finance. I've researched funding. I've done a lot of exchange work. I've helped my parents invest in money. I invest in money. I'm telling you, Twitter was not private until Elon took over it. And why they became private is because they joined together and became a private company after that. I bought into Twitter.
Pull them up on the internet, ladies and gentlemen. You'll find out that it's listed as a private company when Jack Dorsey.
Right now it is.
When Jack Dorsey owned it, it was a private company. And you never even heard that when he went on like TV shows. That's what they talked about. Oh, Jack Dorsey owns Twitter. They never talked about shareholders or anybody else. They talked about Jack Dorsey and nothing else. And it was a private
Jack Dorsey
company.
is the CEO.
Let me explain how this works. If they were a public company, then anybody can go in and look at their finances. If they're a private company, they can't. That's why people want to keep companies private.
It depends.
So that they can't show you their finances.
It depends.
I know because I have 4 different companies that are listed private, so I don't have to show my finances. And one of the research groups is also listed as a research organization, also private, so I don't have to have a 501(c)(3). So when the government says I want to see what you're doing, they have to go get a warrant and drag my ass into court. That's the whole point of having a private company. That's why Twitter. That's why Twitter could get away with the things it did, because if it would have been a public company, then me and you could have went after them for all of this left-leaning shit they did, but we couldn't.
So anybody that owns stock in Twitter, you need to look this stuff up and maybe sue Twitter now.
You should be suing Twitter
because
you can't sue Elon Musk over anything the company did before he was CEO. But
just
you can
like Facebook, just like Instagram, like all these social media platforms are public.
But you can sue Jack Dorsey and his partners.
And it was, I'll tell you this here. I'm looking at my investment funds right now, and I'm not going to share this because it's my private investment.
Don't put it on the internet.
It's TWTR investment funds was the Twitter public account under that. Obviously, I got a break when Elon sold. And I didn't win money. I didn't lose money either. Well, I lost a little
everybody
bit.
should.
But it was a public. It was a public operation.
What the hell is this?
And it's private now, but because all the groups came together. But I am going to go because I am starving, hungry. I haven't eaten in 12 hours.
Go get some food because I got to go get some.
Love y'all. I'll see you next Friday.
Be good, baby. Don't forget she starts next Friday, 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock
7 Eastern.
I got to get her trained. She got to remember everything's in Central time.
All right. Okay. All right.
Good.
Bye, y'all. Love y'all.
All right.
Bye.
What was that?
Bye.
What's that? All right. What was that, Jeannie? Yes. No. It doesn't really matter. Elon owns it. He's going to do whatever he wants with it. Nobody can stop him. Nobody can change him. Same thing with Tesla. Same thing with SpaceX. He's the boss. That's just how it is. If Tesla could get rid of him right now, they probably would. But
he owns more than half the company. I mean,
I don't think you can buy him out. I don't think they can afford it. Yeah. So. He's gonna stay there as who he is, and he's gonna do what he wants. And well, for him, it's different. He'll make his money off of Twitter. He'll make his money off of SpaceX. So if Tesla goes to do, it will suck for him. But Tesla's not going to go anywhere because he has a knack for turning companies around. I mean, everybody thought that SpaceX was going to go bankrupt, and he'll never get anything done, and it was this, that, and the other thing. And all of a sudden, he's landing not 1 spaceship at a time, but 2.
And he's doing some famous stuff. He launched Gene Roddenberry's ashes into space.
Yeah.
He launched Jimmy Doohan, who played Scotty, his ashes into space. If he hasn't yet, he will be launching Nichelle Nicholas's ashes into space. So, I mean, this guy's got his name all over the space market.
Yeah, he is. He's trusted because he's doing things that even the Russians, the Chinese, and the Americans can't do. We got serious competition for the United States, but he blew everybody out of the list. I mean, it was just what the hell, man. And I remember watching the last 2 years because I was watching him crash it, going, this guy ain't never gonna get nothing done. And then all of a sudden, even NASA's like, can you launch this for us? Can you launch that for us? Can you launch this for us? I was like, wow.
We no longer have to hitch rides with the Russians. He can physically launch any mission we need to the space station and back whenever it's needed.
Oh, and by the way, guys and girls, you can actually go on, I think it's Starlink.com, and look at his Starlink systems around the globe. You can see if one's in your area, if it's passing around. It shows geostats round trips. It shows Starlink round trips. It also gives you milliseconds on the satellite to ground. This shit is revolutionary. I mean, people who can't get internet now can get it, and everybody I know that's got it loves it. Personally, I don't think I could use it for the station, and I don't really need it where I'm at. But everybody who knows got it loves it, and a lot of them live like I got some friends in like Palestine, Texas, and stuff. They're like in the middle of freaking the eastern part of Texas. They ain't nothing out there, people, nothing. But yet they got internet. I know. Jason was waiting for his to come on because he had to wait a couple of years before. Well, I think it was a year before he got it. But when he got it, he loves it. I mean, he just loves it. And what's great about it is you can track it as the different satellites around the world. And one of the nice things about Elon is he said he would use them as weapons to protect us from the Russians.
Yeah,
he would crash his satellites into the Russian missiles. He actually told Putin that. Putin got all spanky about nukes, and he said, "Look, I will just crash one of my satellites in your missile and send it out to space." And then he told him, he said, "I guarantee you, I can produce more satellites than you can produce missiles." And he's already got like 3,000 or 4,000 of them up there to start off with. Let's see. Starlink internet constellation operation by SpaceX providing satellite internet access coverage to 45 countries. So they started launching satellites again in 2019. Currently, they have 4,300. This looks like 3,300. But anyway, mass-produced small satellites in low Earth orbit. He's got them everywhere, and he's going to keep going. Eventually, he'll have 10,000 of them up there. I mean, the guy's brilliant. And if he can get the way he wants, the only problem with Starlink is it's fast as hell. I mean, it's 200, 300 megs. But when you have to go up to the satellite and back down, your millisecond speed is slower. So, like, if I ping my satellite provider right now, I'll probably be like 50 milliseconds. If I ping somebody in Europe, it'll probably be about 200 milliseconds. That's because it's got to go up to satellite and come back down. So that's not really a problem unless you're a gamer or something like that, because then the milliseconds make a difference. But for a lot of stuff, milliseconds don't really matter. And for download speeds, they do. It just takes longer to download, or you might get a little glitchy. But I have faith that he'll even fix that problem. I haven't seen. Well, you have to look at it like this. Some people in the world fall in line and do what they're told, and some people want to stand out from the world. Elon wants to stand out. He wants to be somebody different. I'll actually be surprised if somebody don't kill his ass, to be honest with you. He stands out. He tells the politicians what he thinks. He has no problem. I haven't seen somebody like him since Ronald Reagan, maybe. I mean,
yeah, maybe Ross
Perot. Maybe Ross. I really just haven't seen anybody like this guy in a long time who's willing to stand up. And he's not even a politician. He's willing to stand up. It's so. Oh yeah, you can find out when their next launches are, what states it's available in. Let's see. He's going to launch another 189 Starlinks between December 20. Oh wait, no, that's 2024. Yeah. So he's got getting ready to do that. Let's see. Starlink each year, there will be more than 60 Falcon 9 Phantom launches. 60 a year. I mean, the Americans could never do 60 a year. We might do 3 a year, maybe 4. And if we add in all of our satellite stuff, maybe 20. But last year, if you combined everything launched in the world, he was 10 times more. He launched 10 times more things than the rest of the planet combined. That's saying a lot, people. And his rockets are truly reusable, and they land on their own. We don't have to have runways and shit. They come down.
Yeah, we don't have to go send the Navy out in the
like
ocean
you used to see in the old 50s movie. And then you see what Bowen did. You got to go retrieve their thing. It falls out in the water. So he can bring a satellite. He can bring a ship up and down without going in the water. He can land the capsule with a capsule on it. So I don't know, people. That's big difference in all that money you got to spend. Well, they had, what is it, the Orion they just launched? What was that? The big one they launched. They're testing to go to the moon again. Why are we going to the moon? Let's go to Mars.
Yep. Well, that's his ultimate destination is colonize Mars.
Yeah, his is. Yeah, and he's that new rocket. He's building like a spaceship. People. He's not. Yeah, he's building something like you'd see on sci-fi. He's not playing around. He wants to go to Mars. He's going to send a couple there, and then they're going to spend about a decade launching, sending ships there full of stuff, and then he's going to take some colonists and start colonizing. I don't know what the requirements will be, and I'll be too old, so it won't matter. But he's going to colonize Mars. He's going to be the man who colonizes, or it'll be a joint thing between us and him. But a lot of people want to go colonize Mars. Mars is interesting. I don't know why people want to go to Mars. It's like why did we want to go to the New World? It's the same thing. Why did we cross the ocean? Because it was there. So basically, why are we crossing the space? Because it's there. Let's see. And it's planned to create 12,000 satellites. Yeah, low Earth orbit, 12,000 he's going to put in space. Jesus. Currently, it says as of 2022, he has 5,465.
He's more than a third of the way there.
Yeah, he's going, people. He's not playing. And remember, he can use these satellites to knock. They can't blow up a Russian missile, but they can knock it out of the way. Or if the satellite blows up, it might cause it to blow up anyway. So, yes, he can control all of these satellites. This guy's not playing around. And people, he's got other stuff up there. I'm not sure what it is. He's been launching a lot of stuff into space. He's been launching a lot of stuff into space for other people too. It's not, he launches for all kind of businesses because they love him. Well, they love this so much that like Taiwan and the Ukraine want to build their own systems for their own countries instead of using Elon's. I don't know. I'd just use Elon's, but I guess the Taiwan government wants to be able to keep their stuff in house. So I can understand that. So you might be able to get Starlink as a citizen in these countries, but the government stuff's going to be on their own satellites. So that actually makes sense to me. That really does. It's when I go to space, I'd go to space. I've been close. I've been to 80,000 feet. So I've been close. Low Earth, yeah, I've been close, but I haven't actually been into space. That was actually on a jet. Yeah, they were testing. Well, it was an AEAT, so we had just done a bunch of remodel on a particular craft. I can't tell you what it was, but it's still classified even today. And they wanted to take it up to high as they could get it without actually going into space, and they wanted to test out all this new equipment on it. This was 40 years ago, so you can only imagine what they got today. And I had to go with them. The pilot told me, he said, you did all of this and he did all this. And you know what? One of you two bastards are getting in a plane with me. He said, if I'm dying, you're dying with me. That's like,
I'm not blowing up alone.
Oh, yeah. That was funny as hell. And then, well, they would do that too, just like the F-14s and F-18s. They would tell us that sometimes. That was an awful quick turnaround. You get in a plane. You're going for a ride to test it out. I'm like, what? Yeah, get in the plane. No, they would try to make you sick. And I loved it. Oh, I loved it. They'd turn around all they want. The only ones I didn't like is I was part of the River Rattlers, which was an old A7 Core 2 or A7 Core E fighter bombers. These Corsairs were huge. They were old, out of date. They didn't go fast in the speed of sound. They went about 600 miles an hour. And if you got there, it felt like the damn thing was going to rattle apart. They were from Korea and Vietnam. And you used to have to dive the ducks before we could let them go flight to make sure nothing got in there. It's insane. And they were just rattle traps. I hate it. But anytime we went out to the ship, we had to fly in this because that was our squadron. I was like, shit. And then we joined the F-18 Hornet Squadron. And so we became the bombers for their fighters. And then I got to ride in all kind of stuff. Yeah, it was great. We'd go out to the bombing derby in Fallon, Nevada. We'd have bombing derbies, and we'd just bomb the shit out of shit for 14 days. You'd be on and off. The Air Force would come out and hang out with us sometime and bomb shit too. And it was insane. You would work 48 hours on. The pilots were exhausted. We were exhausted, but they were emulating battle conditions aboard a carrier. So they would do touch and goes, and touch and goes means they just come down, touch the wheels, and they take off. They don't land. They don't do anything. They just touch the wheels and go. And we did a lot of that. And we had to always be working hot brakes and stuff when they came in. Even though I was a specialist avionics, electronics technician, advanced, I still had to know all the work into everything else on the aircraft. That's why it was called avionics. We had to know how the brakes work, the systems work, the fire systems work, suppression system, what boards did what. It was just required. And it wasn't just me. Anybody who was working in those areas had to know that stuff. Redundancy is important when you're on board a carrier, getting the shit blown out of you. So, your flight crew, you want your flight crew to know everything. Yeah. I was at AE, I was a plane captain. So I got to do a lot of launch. And there's pictures of me standing out there, half bent down, giving a salute to launch a jet. I loved it. I almost stayed in the Navy. I loved it. It was great. If it wouldn't have been that shit where we didn't dock for 6 and 7 months at a time, I'd have stayed in. But I was like, what? We're going to do what? Oh, we're going to sail around for 8 or 9 months. No, I'm out of here. I don't want to sit. The carrier was great. It was big. It was about 4,400 people on board when I was on board. There's a lot of girls on. We had 3 bowling lanes. We had 2 commissaries. We had a little restaurant. We had all kind of stuff. It was like a little floating city. But still, and that's nothing compared to George W. Bush now. That shit, Nimitz could fit inside that bitch. I was like, damn.
Yeah, the new carriers hold like 6,000 crew.
Oh yeah, it was insane. And that's because they're more advanced. If you had to do it old school, it'd probably be more like 9,000. Well, as the carrier groups have been growing, they were started having less and less people. Originally, Nimitz had 55 people, 5,500, and the crew started getting smaller as the ships became more advanced. There were certain things we didn't need anymore, like missile loaders. The ship loads its own missiles. We didn't need missile loaders anymore. We didn't need a lot of things anymore. The ship did it itself. There was lots of fire suppression. I worked a fire on one of the destroyers one time, which was just insane. And then we put in a halon system on the Nimitz. So there wasn't no working out. All you was going to clear the damn room so you don't suffocate. And so the ship did it itself. It had a thing where it would give you X amount of time to get out. But if the fire was reaching a certain area or a certain time or was going to cause a certain problem, it would shut the doors with you in it and kill your ass in a heartbeat. That's what it was designed to do. And nobody was opening it again until the fire was suppressed. So you were dead by that time. It was interesting. It was a different kind of life, a different kind of world. I got to see a lot of things. I got to learn a lot of things. I got to meet several astronauts because of that stuff, because, I found it interesting that when I met an astronaut and went to talk to him and told him I was on the Nimitz and what I did, and I worked in avionics, they were always like, okay. You got a bachelor's in avionics and electronics advanced, so they always wanted to talk to me, and I always wanted to know the inner workings of this or the inner workings of that, or how did a particular thing work on a particular. I asked a lot of questions about the shuttle.
Go to the bathroom on the space station.
Yeah, stuff like that. Well, like the Apollo crews, and for the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo was basically in your suit.
Yeah.
They did have, I think on the Apollo, they did have an evacuation area where you could stick like a funnel to your ass or your and go to the bathroom. But the shuttle actually had a bathroom on board. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You had to put yourself in a harness and all, but it actually had a bathroom on board. Yes. It even had a place to heat your food and stuff like that. Yes. It was luxury in space. Now, the space station is much more advanced. It has way more stuff. We could do a lot more stuff on it. And Marcus, I seen that question earlier. I don't know much longer the space station has. I know the Chinese have one up there. They put up not too long ago.
Well, the ISS, I think, has already passed its operational window. It's beyond its expected life date.
Yeah, and we're still using it, which is kind of weird. Yeah. So we add modules all the time, so we can take off modules and send them in space and add a new one. Especially now that we got Elon's launching system, makes it way easier. And so there's a weird thing about those, because micrometeorites is a dangerous thing. So there's a dual outer shell on these, and if one penetrates it, it actually inflates to slow it down so it doesn't come all the way through. So it does that twice to keep something from coming into the craft. And if it does make it in a craft, it's usually not going to cause any more damage than the little hole, which they have this little thing, and it fixes it. When I was in the Navy, you used to have to take corks and hammer them into. I'm not kidding you. I'm serious. They had all kind of different size corks, and if there was a leak, you had to try to get it in a hole and then pound it in there to make it stop leaking. I'm not kidding y'all. You can look it up for yourselves. We didn't get advanced stuff till much later on. I was gone by that time. They have these cup things they got now that you push the water and slide it in, and it just seals the hole. But they didn't have that when I was in the Navy. They had corks this big and this big. Y'all think I'm kidding y'all? I'm not. The first time I seen that, I'm like, what the is this? I'm not kidding you. I was like, what is this?
This is how we keep the water out.
I'm thinking, this is advanced Navy in the world, and we're using corks? I was like, did not make me feel good about that carrier. Well, the way you can know I was on, I worked on Old Salty, and that's not the ship, but it's something on board the ship. Mm-hmm. I had my clearance was high. I was class 10. The reason why people always think, oh, Joe knew this, Joe did not know a lot, but my clearance was high because I had to work in the conning tower on all the equipment up there, from fire control to radar to everything else, because that's what I did. I worked on all the jets, and I also worked on Old Salty, which of course is the reactor aboard the Nimitz. And you had to have an outrageously high clearance, because all the stuff I know I could have just turned over to Russians. It would have been easy to conquer the ship.
You could turn one button and blown it up, yeah.
Yeah, so they had to know that I was going to be loyal, and after they found out I was, and still, I'm not telling you, even today, even at 59 years old, you still run a background check on me every 4 years. I guess they want to make sure. And I have been flagged once or twice for saying wrong things. I had told Stephen Bissett about a story that happened on Nimitz with a saucer. First time, because my thing had dropped. The clearance thing had dropped. And they had released us from it. And I told it, I'm not shitting. You went in 5 days. I get a phone call. And so you're going to get a new security thing. I'm like, what are you talking about? They want you to re-sign. I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, it's over. It's 26 years, point whatever years. It's over. And they said, oh, no, it's not. There'll be one coming into your mail, and there will be someone. I can't even tell you who they were that came and picked it up. That's how classified it was. I was like, you got to be shitting me. So they made me re-sign another disclosure agreement. So I can't talk about that anymore. And then I got in trouble once for talking about EMP shielding because nobody knew our jets had EMP shielding on board of them. And I still remember when I got the phone call, you've been sanctioned. I said, for what? They said, you've been talking about EMP shielding. This is 20 years after I'm out of the Navy. I'm like, get the hell out of here. The Russians definitely know we got EMP shielding. Don't even try to think they don't. And he said, doesn't matter. Don't talk about it. There were a couple of specialty missiles I talked about once got me in trouble. I mean, it'd been out 20, 25 years. I figured, come on. They didn't keep secrets that good. Maybe they did. I don't know. And there was other prototypes I seen. I didn't talk about them, but I seen a lot of different prototypes. The Nimitz would sometimes pick up a prototype plane and not launch it and take the thing to somewhere else. And they'd put it on the ground on some huge ass runway and launch it from there. And the Nimitz would be offshore guided. We'd have jets in the air the whole time. Oh, yeah. We had jets scrambled all over the place. Oh, man. Any prototype that went up, there was a squadron following, usually 2. They weren't chase planes. They were fully armed F-18s, which was top of the line at the time. Oh, yeah. They were flying and making sure nothing was getting around this thing. And they had orders to shoot anything down that even approached it. Yeah, we accidentally shot them down, shit like that. I wish I could tell you what they were. Even today, I can't talk about them. They're just, and I don't know where they went. I mean, a lot of these prototypes we've seen, I have no idea where they are, if we're going to ever see them again. I will tell you this. I did see the original prototype of the X-117X, which is a stealth fighter. I did get to see the prototype of that. And that was
blue program.
Yeah.
There were several designs for that. And the one that won was the weirdest thing about that, because that's all Area 51 and Area 52. Area 52 is the base where they run out of at the top of the state. But in the late 70s, early 80s, before they were even known about, I think it's Revell, the model company, came out with the new stealth fighter. They called it the Aurora, but they got it wrong. It wasn't the Aurora space plane. But what they did was they recycled the TV show Buck Rogers in the 25th century. They remodeled that model, the spacecraft that Buck Rogers flew on the TV show, in black plastic. That's all they did. It wasn't even accurate to what the F-117 looked like. But that's when I first heard about it. And then, was it 93? They launched him against Saddam Hussein, and they were public again. When
I seen him, it was like 80. I think it was 83 or 82. Now, remember, I got to tell you a little secret. The United States government had stealth since, I think it was 55. So most people don't realize it, but the SR-71 Blackbird is a stealth fighter. No, it's a stealth fighter.
55, we had the U-2, which was not a stealth aircraft. It was just able to fly above all forms of radar and sonar and other detection devices. The first stealth we had was in 76, and that's the Have Blue programs when we got the new skins for the F-117. And then they retrofitted those skins, or tried to retrofit those skins on the SR-71, which was still flying at that time, and it didn't really necessarily work. So even the SR-71, which is considered a stealth plane, it doesn't really have the same stealth skin that the 17s do.
No, they don't. They don't have the painted skin.
Yeah,
they have it's like a rubberized skin.
It's like a mesh they put on top of the.
I've seen several of them. I almost got my one shot planted. So I went to go see a friend of mine in Texas, in San Antonio, and he was working. He was guarding B-51s is what he was. B-52s he was guarding, and they got these big red and yellow circles. So if you step in a yellow circle, you get warned. If you step in a red circle, they shoot you.
Oh, shit.
They don't know. They just shoot you. And I was out there. I was going to see him, and the guy said he's working. So I was walking along. I seen a Blackbird sitting on the runway. So I was going to walk over. I mean, I got a high clearance. I was going to walk over, and all of a sudden I hear, shh. I just put my hands up. He said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm going to go see this guy over here." He said, "Well, you need to go over there and see him and get away from here." And I was like, "Dude, I got this." He said, "I don't care what you got. You don't have no paperwork to be here. You can't be here." I was like, "Okay." What was I going to do? I wasn't going to argue with him. I mean,
he's got a gun. Yeah.
Oh, actually, Jeannie, the SR-71 Blackbirds belong to NASA now.
Yeah.
Yeah. They, I don't remember. Was it 64? I always get them confused. That's why I said 55 rather, but it might have been 64. Anyway, somewhere up in that area when they first came out. And technically, the reason they were stealth is because they fly so damn fast you couldn't shoot them down.
Yeah,
but they did have what you would call a minimized radar. So when you hit it on radar, it looked like maybe it might have been a Cessna or something. It definitely did.
Birds.
Yeah, it definitely did not look like a plane like this one. In case y'all didn't know, the SR-71 can carry a payload. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that never got released until NASA got them.
Yeah,
I think they can carry
drones. Yeah. They carry drones on top and below. They could drop two of them.
And they still, even today, we still use them. They are still the fastest airplane in the United States arsenal. And they're what? So they were 50 years old, 60 years old, and they're still our fastest.
They started in 62, 63 before they were operational.
Yeah. I know. Well, we got them because of the whatchamacallit the
U-2 before
the one that got shot down. Yeah.
Yeah, it was no longer functional.
Once we realized it had missiles that could catch it, the U-2, then we had to build something faster.
Well, it wasn't just the missiles. They upgraded the radar to see that high too. So when the missile wouldn't have hit it if they couldn't see it on radar.
That's true. And see, the SR-71 they could see, but by the time they shot, the damn thing was across their country.
It's gone. Yeah.
So when I was told about its official speed, it was like Mach 3 or whatever. Yeah. So I'm I'm at the same base looking at my friend, talking to him, right now standing away from line. He said, "Hold on, there's something getting ready to come over." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Just hold on," and you could hear this weird sound, right? And he said, hold on. And all of a sudden you see this bitch go by. The nose clone is growing red. So in order for the SR-71's nose clone to go red, it had to be Mach 5, Mach 6. It couldn't have been going any slower than that. And it would come up. And the funny part about this, and when they were on the ground, they were freaking leaker traps. Everything leaked on them because they were designed for the seals to expand when they got at high speed. The plane was a mess. It was cool, but it was a mess.
Cool, before it launches, they fill it up with fuel, and the fuel leaks because the panels are like this. And then once it hits the air, it warms up, and the panels snap in, and the whole plane seals back up. Then they marry up to a refuel plane and refuel because they just spit all their fuel on the runway taking off, and then they take their round around the planet. Cruising speed is 3.5 Mach. Yeah. High speed is probably 5.5 or 6 Mach.
I'm thinking it's around 6.
The pilots and the crew cannot get out of the plane for at least 3 to 5 hours after they land, depending on how fast they went, because this outside of the skin is 3,000 degrees.
And when you look at them, they are the prototype for a lot of the fighters we use, the stealth fighters we use today, except for the 117.
F-35,
the 117 was just a bat. I don't know what the hell design they were going for, tri-wing or whatever the hell that thing you want to call it. Yeah. I don't know what they were going for there, but I mean, it worked. We've seen it work. And now, you do know the X-117s are retired, right? Mm-hmm. They retired them bitches. Even though they were successful in Desert Storm, we retired them. I know why they retired them. Most people don't know why. So
something better.
No, actually, 2 kids, I think it was in Scotland, were out playing around with their cell phones. So they realized that the cell phone tower could pick up the stealth jet. There was no longer stealth anymore. Just a freaking stupid cell phone tower could pick it up. So there was no way to change the design at that time. So they basically retired. And it was so funny when I heard that. I was like, that's bullshit. And I looked it up and I said, that's bullshit. And I called a few of my friends in the Air Force and they're like, no, that's what happened. He said, it's not the only one, by the way, Joe. He said, we were surprised. He said, but there's so many cell phone towers. And the plane gave off a particular frequency. I think that's what the problem was, and there was no way to change it.
The angle on it made it sing.
And it's also a widow killer because it's fly by wire. It's no hydraulic systems that you can control.
If the computer fails on it, you cannot fly the F-117.
And don't get me wrong, the F-35 and the F-22 are fly by wire too, but it's a different kind. It's like the fly by wire you use in your car. It's a little bit different kind, and they have redundant systems on board those. The 117, I don't think it was big enough to have redundant systems on board. So. But it did its job. We seen it. We seen it blow the shit out of radar systems and missile places all over Iran. So we know it works.
It is to date the only Air Force jet fighter / bomber that has never had one shot down.
Yep.
Not one.
They were badass systems, and we just got badass systems now. Look, I don't know which one's my favorite, the F-35 or the F-22. They're both badass.
They're both pretty badass.
I don't know. F-22 is ready to go. It's no, we don't use Twitter anyway, girl. We use Facebook a lot of times, but
and we'll be on Roku in the next day or two.
That's right. We'll be on Roku real soon, so we don't really care about Twitter, but Twitter is one of those things that, I'm glad Elon did what he did and he exposed him. So I don't know what's going to come out of all this exposure, but at least he exposed him. He also gave Congress a way to look at him and a way to do it and see where they're going to go and what's going to happen. We'll see how all that goes. Reese, no, he fired everybody. He fired the board of directors. He said, "Screw y'all."
Entire controlling parties. He got rid of.
Man, he said nope. He said, if you've got any connections to any of the old people, you're out of here.
Yeah,
not just them. He fired a lot more people than just that. I mean, he just went on a firing spree. He went crazy. He just decided he wanted out, and it was amazing because Twitter's not worth $44 billion. I don't know why he bought it for that.
I think, like you said, to make a statement. I mean. Whatever they were doing was not good, and he fired the upper level management first, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm coming after middle management." He said it on the news, "I'm coming after you guys," and he fired them too. So
so
he ain't playing around.
I'm just glad to see it. I'm glad to see somebody out there on our side for a change. Will he stay there or will he sell out? I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But right now he is. I think part of it is because he's an immigrant. He came here and he loves his country now, and he's made him bitch. And he's like, "Well, wait, look, people, you ain't screwing my country up now. I'm here. I can't take this back to South Africa. What are they going to do with this shit?" He's like, what, Tesla cars? I ain't going to do that. What, Tesla's not going to do any good in South Africa?
He'd have to redesign all the engines because the electrical systems in South Africa are different than over here.
Plus, putting in charging stations, there's going to be a nightmare. Mm-hmm. And where's he going to launch Tesla? I mean, where's he going to launch his Starlings from? I don't think that's going to work real good. Besides that, South America hasn't been the safest place for white people in the last decade or so. So be careful.
Several decades.
Yeah. Ever since the apartheid took over, they feel a need for vengeance against the whites there, which I can understand. I mean, they were treated pretty harshly there for a long time. So, but why run off people like Elon? That's just crazy. All you did was hurt yourself there. I mean, he could have brought all kind of money into your country, but not now. He's not going to do it now. But anyway, we got to get out of here because we done been 3 hours again. So we're going to get out of here. I want to thank everyone, Jay, hanging out. Emily was always great as usual. To Marsha, who wrote that earlier. Emily and I are going to argue. That's why I want her on the show. I'm going to say this again. If anybody who's followed me for any length of time knows, we can talk about anything, but everyone's free to disagree. And you're not going to get fired for it. You're not going to get screamed at. It might get a little rowdy, but nobody's going to get screamed at or anything like that. No, because we want people to express their opinion, whatever it is. I like her. She's a good host. She's a lot of fun to talk to. And she's going to be a lot of fun to talk to. Her new show starts 6 my time, 7 her time, so y'all can check it out.
Right before my show.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, she's going to be y'all's opening show now. So y'all probably see an increase in numbers, but we're going to have a lot of fun with her next in a couple of months. I don't know how long. I got to talk to Michelle. She'll have another show coming on the network as well. But anyway, one baby step at a time, but she's a lot of fun to talk to. I was trying to get Trish Moe to join us tonight. She's also a lot of fun too. She's actually on Mondays on the Missing Piece. So y'all can catch it at Jay's with Jeffrey just before this show on Church of Mavis, where Wham was tonight. Wham, wham, wham. Captain Wham, as I call him.
Dr. Wham in the house.
Wham's a lot of fun to talk to too. Just don't talk politics with her. Yeah, at least, okay, let me rephrase it. If you're a liberal, you can talk politics.
Unless you're Democratic.
Yeah. So, but if you're anything else, especially if you get caught between her and Jeffrey, oh my God, you better know what you're talking about. It's going to be hell. That's another thing I was saying earlier in the show. We don't care. We don't care what religion you are. We don't care what political views you have. Everybody's welcome on this network. We like having. We don't want to be a cookie cutter network. In other words, whatever my personal beliefs is, I don't need the network to follow that. I'm a strong host. I have strong views. And I want my other hosts to have the same, not the same views as me necessarily, but strong views. Some of us may have the same views or closer to the same views. Some of us may not, but that's the point of the network. It's one-stop shopping. Okay. That's really what we want. One-stop shopping. You know, we want you to come and enjoy yourself and go, oh, I like her, or he's crazy and she's right, or he's right and she's crazy, or that one's right, or this one, whatever. We want you to enjoy yourself. That's what you're here for. It's one of the reasons I bought the Roku channel so y'all can get in and talk about it. Jackie, I never get angry, baby. It's Jackie. You know, I've been thinking about that. There's 2 or 3 good hosts on here that really do good conspiracy stuff. And we might, if we can find a spot for it, we might form a strictly conspiracy show. And what that means is taking what is a conspiracy that might be something real. Because you have to remember, not all conspiracies are conspiracies. Sometimes you get in a conspiracy and you find out 5-10 years later, it's not, it's real. There's been a lot of that recently. I'd say it's about half and half. So, you know, we might set something up like that. And we got a lot of good hosts that are very well researched in it. Yes. And I got a good friend of mine I'd like to bring on board too. She's really good at it too. And, well, you don't have to agree. She argues with me all the time. She tells me I'm a crazy bastard half the time. It's, that's the part of doing live radio. That's the fun part. Whether you like Elon, whether you don't like Elon, whether you like Jeff Bezos, if you like crazy Facebook guy, Mark Zuckerberg, it doesn't matter. You know, if you like any of these crazy agencies, different companies that are buying into companies, you like them, you don't like them, you got something to say about them, that's what we're here for. So come out and enjoy yourself, have a lot of fun, and just enjoy the shows for what they are. And if you want to call in and argue with a host, feel free. But remember, some of our hosts are pretty tough, so you better know your shit if you're going to call in and argue with them.
Yeah,
I'm just warning you ahead of time.
Me and Joe are pretty well versed in most of the UFO and alien stuff, and I'm pretty good with JFK and some other things that are in the background. So, and
that's something else somebody asked us the other day, and that's why I miss Jim Mars. Oh, I miss Jim Mars.
Yeah,
him and I used to have such great conversations. It's just. I was in awe of Jim. Jim was a better researcher than I was. I'm a damn good researcher, but he was actually better than I was. He had. Well, I cheat. I have a team that helps me. So Jim did it all on his own. He was just really good. Well, he's also friends with the writers of the Future Bunch too. Yeah, he was friends with John and them and a couple of other people I know over there. He was actually friends. And with I can't think of his name right now, but he works for the group too. And John, and that's how we actually met. Jim actually told them about me. Jim was doing some work with Writers of the Future. I can't remember his name right now. And he told them they should come talk to me. And that's how we all met. Yes. And I got Jim's last 2 interviews he did while he was alive. I got the one for Crossfire where he's talking about John F. Kennedy. It was a political interview. And another interview. But then him and I did one last interview. It was strictly politics. I was the only person that could ever get him to sit down and do strictly politics. It was a damn good interview. It's still available on the network. Just type in Jim Mars. And also, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Kevin Smith and Jerry Pittman. So I did a lot of stuff with both of these guys. They were friends of mine, and Jerry was very liberal. Kevin was very conservative. And we do a political thing between the 3 of us. It was insane. Because we all had different opinions. It was just a lot of fun, but we were all friends. So even if it got heated, we were still friends. You know, when the show was over, we were done. We were friends. But anyway, on that note, I think tell everybody thank you again for tuning in. Don't forget to come join us next week. And don't forget, people, you can come into the chat room and chat and post whatever you want to post and say what you want to say. You know, just try to keep it R-rated. That's all I can say. But other than that, you know, say what you want to say, speak your mind. I prefer y'all to come in these chat room where everybody can see it. But if you know, steal from our friends who use Messenger, that's fine too. Again, Emily, it's FT Frickett, and her first official show on the network will be this Friday. Yes, this coming Friday. But I will be posting her show from today later and tomorrow sometimes. It'll get posted, so you get to hear the one she did yesterday. Yes, or today, I should say. So, or it is yesterday. It's 12 o'clock now. It's 1 o'clock for Corey J. So it's midnight for me. So, but anyway, we got to get out of here. All y'all have a great time. Have a great weekend. Have some fun. Enjoy your lives. And get involved. That's all I can tell you. It doesn't matter how you get involved. Just get involved. And no, you're not going to always be right. No, you're not going to always be wrong. But get involved. On that note, good night and see y'all Wednesday.